Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Work It Like a Job, the podcast. I've been done one of these in a minute, but I don't have the full crew here. But I am joined by the one and only Aunt Pooh. Sir, how are you?
What? That's right. That's like
What does that
I am.
mean? What does that mean?
Oh, that's from Kendrick's. Not like us.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I'm LA boy, born and raised South
For sure.
Central. That's Compton adjacent. So we are feeling ourselves right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be on one.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, before we get into that, there's a lot going on, but as we're recording this, for the probably the biggest thing that I see coming across the headlines here is the Diddy video with him and Cassie in a hotel. And I'm not going to show the video here. It's hard to watch, actually. What's interesting to me at the beginning was I remember seeing the post yesterday, but I just didn't click on it because I didn't know what it was. And I just saw it said Diddy something. I was like, oh, what is he doing now? I didn't even pay attention till I finally, one part of the day, clicked on it just because I was like, "Ah, I keep seeing this." And I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, I did not expect what I saw. I was shocked. And without going through all of the details from her suit from it was a couple months ago now. I'm not sure. Um,
Actually, that
this
was November.
it was last year. Okay,
Yeah.
so this was in the lawsuit. She was describing this event in that, and now we have the video. Um, I wanted to bring up something here. Do it. This is from People Magazine. Um, I want to read a little bit of this, and also I want to get obviously going to get your opinion on this. But here says Sean Diddy Combs settled civil lawsuit with Cassie so quickly because of the 2016 hotel surveillance video. This is by way of a former CIA agent. Uh, the fact that we have CIA agents or former agents weighing in on this is interesting to me, but it just goes to show how much hip hop and these guys have really just it's a part of pop culture, it's mainstream. I would never would have thought this back in the day. I just remember Puff Daddy was dancing in videos, but here we are. Uh it's on Friday, May 17th. CNN released a March 2016 surveillance video from the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles that showed the music mogul in a towel grabbing, kicking, and shoving his ex girlfriend Ventura outside an elevator. The footage resembled a scenario described in her lawsuit that accused Diddy of rape, sex trafficking, and domestic violence. Um, Before I go any further, man, what's your thoughts on this situation so far? Seeing the tape and everything.
Overall, watching it, it was just crazy. Um, we heard these type of things. And even in the past, we've heard about domestic violence issues with a number of artists, with OJ, with Ike and Tina. But to actually see it in practice, it was just a whole different thing to it. Um, and I think I think we all become victims of celebrity, where we think someone this rich, someone this powerful, someone this beloved. Oh no, he ain't doing this. He don't need to rape. He
Mm,
don't need, we kind of think he don't need
right.
to be keeping a woman. Because he can go get any woman he want out there. He's Diddy. But then you see it, and I hope it really ends a lot of the talking points that many say about why women stay, or she's staying for the fame and the money. I don't know. There's a lot of I took a couple of ass whoopings in my time. I don't know if you can pay me for that. I just don't. And the
No.
thing of it is that if you're looking, he is running down the hallway, damn near butt ass naked with a towel on. So that really gets to his psyche of not only I'm not going to even have any modesty. I'm going to go and I'm just in his frame of mind. Get this bitch back here. I don't give a damn about all this stuff. His whole thing was, if we want to throw in that, how dare you? What's going get you back? And you know, as we've been hearing people like Keefe D and even Should, and some other people talking about, hey, Diddy got killers. To really see him hit that woman, I don't know, it really struck a nerve. Like, okay, we've been joking, but yeah, well, maybe he does, because he was. It's just the level of comfortability. He had to know there was a camera there. At first, I thought, how are you just comfortable doing this at a hotel with other guests there? And then I was listening to Van Lathan's podcast, and he said, well, when you have that type of money and that type of celebrity, you probably buy out the whole floor. So there probably wasn't anybody else there. So he did feel comfortable. But it's really sad to see that, and I'm speaking as, a broke Negro. You have that type of, because I'm looking at, like, when you have that type of money, that type of power, that type of fame, what is your mentality that you're holding on to this one when, to paraphrase Ice Cube, you can have a new one next year like that?
Right.
And it's like, maybe I don't even want to try to get into the psyche of, because I don't want to be that type of person, but it's just, again, like I said, I hope it really ends that, because like people have been saying, why didn't she leave? They're like, she tried to leave. And by any means necessary, he's like, no, you're not, no. And it's just really sad to see that that's what we saw that one time. What else did she go through? And the bigger thing was, it's like, when I first saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I was on my 50 Cent. Oh yeah, he did that shit. They're guilty as fuck. That's the first, I was like, yeah, she ain't lied. She ain't lied.
A couple of things. One I was gonna say, when you talk about with person's got money and different things, one thing I've come to learn in life is a lame gonna be a lame, no matter what. You can be a rich lame, you could be a poor lame, but if you're goofy and you have that kind of mindset, you're gonna be that with or without the money. You know, in some ways, when you see people that are mad corny, uh, and you're like, well, how did they got money now? They can act like they really got some game about themselves. But when you listen to them talking, you're like, yeah, this dude, he's only in this position because he got money. They wouldn't really fuck with him if he didn't have all this. He don't have that natural charisma. And you see that in a lot of things. And so it goes both ways, in my opinion. A guy like Puffy was probably the same way back in the day. Uh, he probably was a sucker back then, just a rich sucker, you know. And he got people that are willing to do anything for the money. Uh, the thing with Cassie and Diddy is it's a sad. I can say it's a sad situation, but it makes me wonder. Well, what's any different from this, from Dr. Dre, or R. Kelly, Chris Brown, and there's probably some other ones. And I'm not just what about the white ones? I don't know that culture like that. I'm just talking about what makes it any different. We've shown why this stuff takes so long to come out, because again, we like who we like. And if we like somebody, if you know how to make a beat that can make us feel good, we'll look past a lot of shit. The same way a president like a Trump or something, if you can stand for something and if I think that you're on my side, and he can be he ain't got nothing to do with the working class person. But if I think that I like him, I'll look past all of the foolishness. And I don't think this is any different with this situation. Sadly, uh, this stuff isn't nothing new. There's been articles, books, interviews about Diddy going way back in the day. uh, I guess the difference is now we have the internet. They have some video footage. Even back in the day, though, we had video footage of R. Kelly. That didn't stop nothing. That tape came out, was sold packaged in record stores, shared around. He went to court and got off.
Pause.
Right? Yeah. So that again, you have to get to a point where we don't care about the celebrityism or the power influence, and you just start holding people accountable. But looking at how when I say we, I'm talking about us as the consumers. We're not the producers of their art. We're taking it in of the products, and because we like the product so much, and then we have been taught or we've allowed ourselves to believe that the people that are on the other side of this camera mean something more to you, even if they don't have no qualifications, but just for the simple fact that you're watching them in your mind, you turn off a certain gut thing that when you know right from right and wrong from wrong, and you will allow these people to do stuff that you would never allow anybody else to do.
Oh Lord.
So as much as I hate, I hate what's going on with this Puffy thing, but I think it's going to open the door to what's a lot more that's going on. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, because also with him, does that mean everything else we heard about him was true? Does it mean the people getting the death threats and the people that got killed, or the other people that he knew in his past career are dead? Is there something else there? The other women, the other people that said, what's that dude who had the lawsuit a couple months ago, Little Rod?
Right, yeah,
A lot of people would say, "Oh, it's just money grabbing." Maybe he wasn't lying now. Maybe, but he's also mentioning Usher and all these other. So, is that true too? So I think it's going to
another
open a lot of doors.
another thing is Cola Buff, which I know the name, but I can't remember what she got famous for. She's bringing up Kim Porter's death, and
Right.
people have been saying it was kind of fishy about her sudden death, and I'm just like,
There was rumors that he had allegedly broke her nose, and that's why her nose had got like that, and all kind of stuff. I mean,
and I'm just like, how far down the rabbit hole will we go? Somebody, again, I was listening to the Van Lathan podcast again, and they were
somebody
like,
called out Van Lathan.
"Oh yeah, yeah,
He's
yes."
put out a response to that, so you can definitely go check that out. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, he was talking about his children, you know, especially because I think he has at least 3 girls,
Mhm.
and how do you how do you reconcile that relationship? I mean, I understand that's your father, and the relationship you have with him is all the good stuff, but you
Mm.
know, you it's one thing to hear it, but then to see it, and I have to assume Cassie had to been around them kids,
Mm.
so part of me feels for them because what do they have to reconcile with as well? But just overall, you were talking about things that happened in the past, and now things are different. I think another part of it, and I hope it stays there, is the fact that we are respecting women more. And um, hopefully, like I was saying,
Are we? That's
I
the
said
question.
hopefully. That's why I said hopefully,
Are we
because
actually?
I mean, because do you think it's more so just because it's a salacious story as opposed to we want to do right by these women that have been victims for a while? I'm I don't know, but I gotta be hopeful that it has to be. We're not going to take this BS, this abuse that we've been
Yeah.
putting against women. I say that, and we took away abortion rights and other reproductive rights from them.
Well, I think there's a lot of things going on here. There's the actual stuff that Diddy has been doing or alleged to have been doing over the years, which might be catching up, but that's probably been going on for a while, and there's probably been these things going on, videos that have been circulating for years. I remember, you can look it up. 50 Cent talked about this years ago on some show that there was these. I don't know if you remember those pictures of Cassie that came out years ago. She was naked and stuff. Apparently, there was videos to that, and 50 was like, "Yeah, I got the video." He made it sound like it was one of them freak offs, and he let Puffy know, man, came across this video. How'd you get it? But now I got you. Don't worry about it. Y'all go look up what I'm saying. 50 Cent talk about. So this been going on for a minute, right? What was I gonna say? Damn, I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna get to a point. I guess I was just thinking. I mean, it's been going on for. Oh, I'm just what I want to say. I think there's a lot of things going on. So there's that going on, but I also think there's another part of it when you factor in. Okay, his places got raided by the government. And there's talk of them grabbing those tapes and what other stuff that he may have had, or what was on those tapes. Were there other people? There's rumored to be other celebrities and politicians and different things that have been to these parties and whatnot. I do think it's interesting that where does CNN get that tape from now?
That was going to be my next topic.
It's put to the is released to the press for a reason. Not to excuse anything he did, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things going on here. I kind of the thought of whatever Puffy had going on in his business world with the liquor and all these different things. I remember he came out a couple years ago, was they're being racist against me in this liquor business, and we find out he didn't really own that Ciroc at all. And I think he may have gotten a few people pissed off, and they just unleashed the hounds. Okay, so well, we got you on a lot of stuff. You've been doing a lot of stuff. We all know what you've been doing. We're gonna get them tapes. We're done with you. And now they're just gonna release. If the government is the one who gave that tape to CNN, I'm speculating. They're doing that to make him look bad, which would probably help their case against him, or at least get the public behind, say, hey, this guy is terrible. We understand that the tape is past the statute of limitations. The LAPD came out and released a statement today saying they can't arrest him for this because it is out of statute of limitation. So they know that by putting the tape out. But what it does, though, for the public is to show how heinous he really is, which I think is good. But on the other hand, it's interesting that there's people that will play high-level chess with people if they need to push an agenda or a narrative, positive or negative, but they understand how to sway the public. I think there's a lot of things going on here, and maybe he has gotten himself so intertwined on certain levels, and he'll never be above reproach. He may think he's going to blackmail somebody or hold something over somebody, but there's obviously higher powers that will make you be accountable for whatever reasons you need to be. And I think when you're not living righteous and you got a lot of foolishness behind you, it's going to be easier for you to be taken down because you can't stand on that. That's wrong. And maybe that's why we never heard of it for so long, because obviously the stuff with, he had the power to buy off a hotel to hold that tape, which is another question. So you can commit crimes and pay off places to not say nothing. Wouldn't they be held accountable to? So there's a lot going on. That's my point.
And that's the other thing. Why am I over here disappointed that $50,000 was all it took? Now, I mean, I guess to whoever sold it to him, that was life-changing money. But I'm just thinking, like, you saw
it's a lot of money, though. Depending on who the
person. To a billionaire?
No. I'm saying who he paid it to.
Right.
It's a lot of money to them, probably.
I mean, again,
like to hold your own, to not be in nobody's business. I don't know if it was just a security person that was in charge of security, and that's your minimum wage type job. and you see somebody getting their ass whooped, and it's Puff Daddy, you know who that is, and and they say, listen, what you gonna do? Oh, hell no. And they got, I don't know, he might have some real people that's like, you gonna take
That's
this
true.
money, what
No,
you gonna do?
I'm
You
just
know,
thinking of the concept. I'm thinking from the perspective of, I know you worth $1 billion. This would shut your whole shit down. At 50
yeah.
G's?
So when you tell that to somebody like that, what you think he gonna say?
Yeah, you're right. I guess
Oh,
it's
you
that
gonna play
Batman
games?
thing.
Yeah, you gonna, oh yeah,
You gonna threaten Batman? Yeah.
yeah. So you want to be in a freak off? No, it's not really fun.
Okay, you're right. But yeah,
You see
again,
how you listen to how, look back at his history. It's all been in front of our faces. This is the man who rushed the coach at his son's school and beat the shit out of him. He then ran up on another music executive, Steve Stout, with a bottle and beat the shit out of him. He was in a club allegedly shooting a gun off with Shine and
smack
them.
Drake.
It's so you think you're gonna come and tell that guy anything? You see how he was when, remember a couple years ago he had that Joker makeup on and he was talking
Yeah.
crazy to somebody on the street and he was losing control. I'm like, nah. You don't want to mess around. Again, if you think there's any level of truth on what Keefe D said, do you really want to talk crazy? You're gonna tell that guy no, and you don't have no money to go against that?
So what it sounded like is Puffy is who everybody thought Suge was.
Well, he's probably just like you.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
I think they all knew that. It just, Puffy was such a very intelligent, smart, devious gentleman, obviously. And he knows that the power is the perception to the public. I'd rather come off looking like a sucker or looking like I'm just, that's a real gangster though, would have that persona.
I'm the guy
A
all
real
in the
gangster
videos,
would
all on
make,
the
yeah,
record.
a real gangster, a real supervillain would be a Lex Luthor. He wouldn't be, you know, he wouldn't be Suge Knight. Because Suge Knight is just telling him, come and get me. And it's good, you know, he's just so outward with it. But the real gangster playboy would come off as Bruce Wayne, but really he's out in the street putting in work. You see what I'm saying? Like, so he's actually more gangster. And
And
he played it for a long time. Look how long he's been going.
beloved, totally beloved. I wonder if we're, because I think right around the time that he did that settlement with Cassie, there was also the news of him giving his artists their publishing. I wonder if that's
Yeah.
going to be brought up, and if we're going to get some more details as to what was the
Well, I
trick
think,
bag on that.
was it Andrea O'Day? I'm sorry if I'm saying her name right. She was the young lady that was in that. What was the female group that he had?
Pussycat Dolls? Or Danny
No,
Kane?
Danny Kane. She has sort of insinuated that that play of the publishing thing was that you had to sign an NDA and you could never say nothing else about him. And so this all happened before these lawsuits came. So she was saying he knew that stuff was coming. So the way to keep everybody quiet was, here, I'm gonna give you ownership. But you got to sign this paper. You can't say nothing bad about me. So she decided she didn't take the deal. She didn't want. She said, no, I'm not gonna. Which is why she continued to be talking about it. So, brother love.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I don't know. I don't want no smoke. I ain't a part of that world. I'm a civilian. I just want justice. And I would say, man, we have to protect our women, our girls, our little babies, our daughters. I can't imagine if my daughter had got into that world. You know, imagine how enticing it must have been. Like, oh, this is Puff Daddy. He's a billionaire. He's interested in me. You know what I mean? Like that can be so enticing. I remember Cassie was really with when she first came out, she was with Ryan Leslie. I don't know if you remember that.
I'm trying to remember who is Ryan Leslie.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he had some stuff. Ryan, he went on to be very big in the tech world and direct to consumer conversation in tech. But Ryan Leslie did her first jam, put her on, and she met Puffy, and they seemed to push Ryan out the way. She went with Puffy. I always wondered what was going on, what happened with that. But yeah, man, it's hopefully just everything will come. Everything's coming out, man. Everything's coming out. You know, and like I said, what's the difference between the stuff we've seen before? You know, the difference is that we like who we like, and we'll excuse some shit if we like their product. You know, we excuse a lot of stuff.
And I'm guilty of that. I'm a wrestling fan, and I had to say over the last couple of years, fuck Ric Flair, fuck Hulk
Mm.
Hogan, fuck a whole lot of them. That's my childhood. But right is right, is wrong, and as much as you want to enjoy a product, that's your soul. And on top of that, when you become a parent, what are you teaching your kids? And you kind of got at me in the Discord because a couple of days ago, I was, again, I'm on this LA high of Kendrick going at Drake and started listening at famous diss tracks, and I got to the Death Row versus Ruthless era, and I was like, damn, Dre was in his bag, and then you get to talking about Dre and D Barnes, and I'm like, damn, I was just praising this motherfucker.
But Dre was in his bag. Like, I'm not gonna. I still bump some of them songs, but the fact that the D Barn thing, the way that happened, and it wasn't just D Barn, it was Michelle Lay. There was that white girl rapper that was on Ruthless too. I can't think of her name.
Right. Yeah, same.
It's beyond not a good look. If that had happened today with the internet and all that, he'd be canceled. He would literally be canceled. And if he wasn't, then it would really be something bad going on.
That kind of speaks to the power of Jimmy Iovine and Apple, because I'm still trying to understand, because they brought his brand into their company, knowing they knew they might not have known about the Michelle and the white girl. And please forgive me for saying white girl, but D Barnes, they knew about. They knew about. And they had to have done their due diligence, and that came up. Again, Michelle, probably not. D Barnes, that was a famous thing in music.
Well, my man Ice-T said, "Money controls the world, and that's it." You got money controls the world, and that's it. And when you got it, then you can talk shit. And apparently, it's just like you said. Salute to Ivy. They got enough power and juice that they know. Don't worry about that. We got that. Now, the thing is, if the tide ever does change, which it could now, right? It ain't gonna hurt them, because all they're gonna do is like, that was him. We've taken him off and we've divested, and they're gonna keep it moving. We didn't already made the money we needed to make off of that deal. He ain't. I mean, you don't think they'd cut Dr. Dre in a heartbeat? Yeah, that's this much to what they got going on. That ain't gonna break Apple. You think they're gonna think and keep moving? When's the next iPod coming out? They're not. Yeah. So they've already. So they have it. So like, if something does happen, cut them.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, it wasn't about expanding their product line. It was about killing the competition, because I don't even think about Beats anymore.
Right. It's
mission accomplished.
Yeah. But you all entwined. But what it brought was, we need this audience. We need the culture to trust Apple and whatever we got going on. And here's an easy way to gather that, to get the data, get all of that. And so now we have Apple Music and all these different things. There's no need, like, don't even talk about Beats by Dre. That's irrelevant. Don't even. Again, we talked about this on the show years ago. but they still have never released that TV series that Drake did for Apple TV that they said it was
Oh,
way too overboard, too violent, sexual. They still ain't put that out, and they never probably never will. They don't have to. They just bought it to show you like, yeah, we're gonna be doing something with Dre till they got everything they needed. And they saw that product, and I was like, ain't no way in hell we'd be associated with that type of imagery, and keep it moving. And nobody's gonna ask the question because you're focused on something else. So they ain't stupid. But it's gonna be interesting to see. You know, um, and
I
I
just
love
hope
Dr. Dre's music. I'm not gonna lie,
I
love
just
it.
hope the other assholes out there that got the skeleton in your closet get in front of it and be ready to fall on the sword. Because as we can see, they coming for y'all. And especially if you black. They ain't got no love for your black ass.
Yeah, I mean, all you can really do is if you're a man doing this or a woman, you're just gonna have to be a man about it or be a stand-up woman. If you know you did something you did wrong, just take the L and take the I'm gonna do the time, whatever it is. I did it. Let me learn from this. That's really all you can do. Or you can do like Puffy and put out the statements that I have nothing to. Again, that's not an honorable. A man was like, you know what? Y'all got me. I was horrible. I did some horrible stuff. I need to be held accountable. I'm not going to do it again, but I did the time. I did the crime, so I'm going to do the time. That's
So
really the
two,
only way you can. Otherwise, if he doesn't do that now, then you really know how much of a sucker he really is, because they literally got you on video doing it. So a
uh,
real man would say, you know what? I can't even lie to myself. Y'all got me. Well, damn. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll see what they're gonna do.
2 points. You were mentioning, men and women, and you mentioned and women, and
Yeah.
that triggered me because I've been a Cardi B defender. And
Mm.
that's making me thinking like, yeah, Cardi, you kind of kikied on that, thinking like and it has not hurt her at all.
Which is telling.
She volunteered that information, has not hurt her. One
Yeah.
day the tide's gonna turn on that, and I'm like, and my thinking is like, Cardi, I think it's time for you to mea culpa on that shit and put
Yeah.
out. This is not how we see. This was a desperation. I shouldn't have been doing it. This is not how you something before the tide turn on that.
People are they're either going to do that or they're going to be smarter about it. I mean, the other people who've done that and you've seen it have, Charlemagne did the same thing, years ago before he went mainstream. He would talk about on his radio show and podcast how he did the date rape drug and all that stuff. I mean, that was a story that he put out there and would joke about, talk about it. Then when that young lady came forward and everybody else started talking about it, cease and desist and different things is going on, but it's still kind of sitting over there in the background just a little bit, which I always find interesting to see if he speaks out on similar types. That's why I feel like he don't really be speaking on the Diddy stuff because he don't want him to bring out his situation. You see the same thing with DJ Academics right now, right? He had talked about this years ago. Now that young lady then came forward, and now he's just being sued for the same type of thing, right? But with stuff that he was talking about on his podcast, he's putting the stories out there. God, it was kind of joking or whatever it was for clicks, but now it's becoming reality. So same with Cardi B. People are not realizing all this stuff you say can come back to bite you on your ass, especially if you're talking about doing foolishness. So if you become more successful, then all of that past stuff, reckless talk is the super liability and can be held against you.
And the thing is you can talk about it, but don't treat it as a joke. Don't treat it as unserious. Hopefully, speak to it as this ain't the life you want to live, and this ain't the type of person you want to be. So at least you're not condoning it. You're not trying to brush it over as, oh, that was young. No, no. Even if those men were committing a criminal act of solicitation, the thing you did took it way over the top, and it's like drugging, um, pretty much violating them with trans people and other stuff. Yeah, you look wild. It's not funny.
Yeah. And that's why, at this point, I always feel like, oh, like, why would you want to be in that business? Like, it's just,
Talk about the entertainment business,
well,
or
at least, yeah, and well, I'm talking about, like, I don't want to say hip hop, but the rap world, if it's dominated with that, you're probably not going to make that much money on a statistic scale. There's going to be the outliers that are going to get a hit, of course. More than likely, you won't be that. The reality is you probably won't be that, just in pure numbers and statistics. But the chances of you being used by the industry are high, right? You becoming burnt out on it, or you maybe you have a little, maybe you become like a Cassie, right? You have a little song that bubbles, and then here comes one of the big people of the industry. They see you, cool, okay, come on in, and they just use you for something, but you never become that thing that you don't become the star. You don't become the music. We don't know your music. Or they take your song and give it to somebody else and share a view. So I just like I kind of question, like, what's the why go into it in terms of wanting to be with that industry of, you can do your art and put it out and do your thing, but there's such a salacious side to it that you seem to just hear all these stories. And if you really look at it, to me, the industry itself isn't really set up for you to make money anyway.
well,
It is
I kind
just
of
set
look.
there to use you. And like, okay, you use your music, cool, put it on these streaming services. We're going to give you pennies, but we're going to make all the money. You're going to do the work. We're making the lion's share of the money, and then move you out of the way to bring in the next batch. Like, so that's why I was like, I would question, like, is that what you're getting yourself into something that you statistically are not going to be successful at, and they let you know that from day one.
Well, I think a lot of it is brainwashing. It's the lifestyle that gets presented that people want to be a part of.
Right.
It's the I'm going to get the money, and then even more so with some, when you don't have when you graduate from high school. Well, first of all, when you're in poverty or even working class, that seems like a better opportunity than going to college or working your way. I mean, first of all, is there a 30-year job with a pension in
Not these
2024?
days. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of see that. And then, you know, as much as I'm a TikTok supporter, when you have this programming, I'm gonna call it programming of what a good life is supposed to be, getting flown out, we out here, we on trips, the bling,
Right.
the
Right.
cars and all that, where you gonna get the money to get all that? Unless you're going into debt. And eventually they're gonna come after you. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So I can understand why the music industry is still an enticing allure to people, because you look at the film industry. I have a daughter that's still trying to work in it, not even act, but work in it from the production side. Hard as hell to get into that. Tech. To what? I think it's been 100,000 layoffs since 2023. And these are the people that supposedly did it the right way, get your education.
Right.
So I can understand, an inner city, poor, working class. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, and I guess I would say you just really have to come into it, know what you're getting yourself into, and really have a very strong sense of who you are. And hopefully you have like a real strong,
Support system. Yeah,
spiritual
please.
or something where you won't succumb too easily to these types of things. Because I'm thinking as we're talking, I have a cousin of mine who's much younger than me. He was They was like the little big, always the little kids when we would go have the dinners. But he grown ass man now, but he's out in LA and he's like one of the go-to music director guys now. And I know how long he's been working, trying to get on and and he's finally, he doesn't work with everybody. And so you can do it. You can do it, but he also comes from we come from a good family, say like deans, try to hold ourselves down. So, but you definitely gotta, but I'm saying like, yeah, you gotta be strong minded. I don't care if you're a male or female, like they got something for both of you, can get you caught up if you're not on business. And just so, yeah, I mean,
And then don't let the drugs get involved either.
well, yeah, I mean, it's all this, it's all a part of the stuff. But yeah, man, it's interesting that we're seeing Puffy's been in the game for a long time. A long time. From probably like, I mean, I first remember him from like 1988 is when I first started to see Puffy. I would see him in the back of videos and different things to the point where I would recognize, oh, I've seen that guy. And you start to hear the name, he's a party. I'm all the way here in Seattle, and I would hear about, oh, it's a Puffy event or party. I was like, who is that? But it was always popping. That was the thing. So you started to hear, but the fact that we're in 2024 and now he has become this, he's an icon. It's just interesting, but it just shows, man, like we can do all kind of stuff, but we don't have to do it. We don't have to do the wrong way of doing it. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Well, sadly, with the music industry, I think we got decades, probably going on a century of doing it the wrong way. Many people that have the same story from the
I guess
40s, 50s, 60s, and
yeah,
on.
say if you look at it, it's always been on some bullshit. Really, it's always been shaky and shisty, jacking people out their money and ownership. They've been doing that well beyond today. So yeah, they can't put that on hip hop or rap. They was jacking people back in the old days.
Yeah.
Thank God people like Ray Charles and people was smart enough to like, nah, y'all not gonna get me. Like, I'm gonna own my shit, or James Brown or Prince, Michael Jackson. But the cold part, I'm not gonna go into, but the cold part is when I look at a Prince and Michael, and neither one of them here, and the estate ownership stuff be on some questionable, shaky, it's kind of
I don't need to get.
Yeah, well, that's
I don't want to get sidetracked, but hearing about the Jackson estate talking about selling his stuff, I'm like, the man set it up for his kids, But
and the kids in on that, they not a family divided. I just want to say it's and he had a will. Look at the Tupac estate. When you see the person who's owned that, you be like, listen to the records, and you look at the picture, and you look at the like, huh? But it just go to show you, they always gonna have a hand in it.
As long as they can make money off of it, they'll figure out a way to squeeze.
They'll find a way to have ownership. They'll play the long game and buy everybody out when they old and want to take it over. There you go. So, all right, man. Anything left on this?
What was the thing that Prince said at the end of Love Sexy? It was about
hold on to your soul, y'all.
There you go.
Long way to go.
There you go. That's all you music industry people, all the ones that made it out and going to your golden years, and all the ones coming in. Hold on to your soul.
All right. Let's get off of the negative stuff. Horrible. What else we got?
I know what I want to talk about.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we got to talk about the beef of this half decade. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. And like I said earlier, I am on one. I'm a West Coast Negro. I'm going to try to keep the PG a little bit. But more so, I'm a Los Angeles, which is Compton adjacent. So I am turning up. The streets is turning up for good this time. As Kendrick Lamar finally decided, I'm gonna stop with the subliminals and I'm gonna say your name. So for the better part of the last 3 weeks, Drake and Kendrick, and shoot, even Rick Ross that got in it, they've been beefing, and I've been loving it because did I lose you?
I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. And I've been loving it because it's not violent, but as we know, when two of the top MCs, two of the top artists and rappers get into it, we get quality music. And as much as I've been looking at Drake sideways, he actually was he was kind of getting with Kendrick. It's just that I'll put it to a Star Wars. When you're a Padawan, you can't mess with the Jedi Master, especially a West Coast Cali Compton bred Jedi Master in Kendrick Lamar. And that man, he put out a master class of not only lyricism, using metaphors, being dirty, doing some dirty macking to a certain extent, but also schooling folks. And I've been, watching a couple of Tariq Nasheed's videos. He's been on some FBA stuff because not like us. Oh my God, that's being co-opted. That is being co-opted. Not only just to the Drake because he's half Jewish, Canadian born, all that, and people said he's faking it, getting our hip hop style, but also for some of the immigrants and some of the.
Didn't Biden use it?
That I can't recall. I
thought I thought there was some, both Biden and Kamala posted something, and they were. I was like, okay.
That would be the end of that. That'd be like, but I mean, it was good to see because we haven't really had a real good quality beef. I mean, Pusha T and Drake, I wasn't familiar with Pusha T's game. Salute to that man, but it really wasn't on that level. But when you get to Kendrick and Drake, people have been waiting for that, and it didn't disappoint. And like I said, Drake, he came with some good shots. He had people questioning and side-eyeing Kendrick, but overall, Kendrick showed you why he is that dude. And, as a lyricist and just overall, to me, the best track was Euphoria. He broke Kendrick down to his soul, just was spitting things and just talking about him being a fake and how he doesn't know anything about the culture and its ghostwriters. Drake came back with Family Matters. Okay. Now, people said it was good, but he lost me when he made the line, Kendrick raps like he trying to free the slaves. And I just was like, and I was just like, bruh, people questioning your authenticity in the Black culture. No, you don't say that. You absolutely don't say that line. So he lost me right there. But, it was a nice track and he hit back. But then Kendrick came back with Meet the Grams, which on a different level was so disrespectful, where he rapped like he was penning the letters to his son,
right,
his mother, the daughter that they claim he's hiding, and then Drake himself. And I just was like, oh.
And he was dropping these like the next day or just shortly after Drake.
Oh, that was
the cold part.
Thank you that was the cold part, because Drake, because Kendrick did Euphoria, and then Drake finally came back with his maybe like a week later, and people were like, ooh, and he only got 30 minutes of hype off of that for Kendrick drop Meet the Grams. And then Kendrick came out with probably one of the greatest knockout blows ever with Not Like Us. Because the thing of people saw, Kendrick is nice, he got the Grammys, he's a lyricist, but he can't make a hit. He ain't got anything to make us dance. He ain't got no bangers. When I clicked on that YouTube link and I heard Mustard on that beat hole, I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, DJ Mustard, don't fuck with him. And the other thing I was thinking was, where the hell did that fool be? He came out. I'm like, did he come out of retirement just to help in Drake?
Wow.
Again, that's just me because I'm not in the music game like that. I just know I haven't heard Mustard on that beat hole in a
Gotcha.
while.
Gotcha.
And I mean, the beat, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. Man, he had so many quotables in that song, so many crowd pleasers. A minor, I mean,
Right.
they
Right.
just using that. Wop, wop, wop. Obi Ho. It was just like
So, you
he,
know, funny thing, I haven't heard the whole song. I've just only heard the OV part, and I've heard the A minor part, and I just know that. But I actually never heard the song, but that's enough to know, like, okay, I can see people. He got the streets. He got the world with this one.
yeah, he got it. He got it. And go ahead and get on me. My 6-year-old daughter.
Lord.
Every time I pick her up from school, Daddy, play not like they not like us. I'm like,
Yikes.
I know, but thankfully I got the
Well,
clean version.
okay.
But because
Well,
all she knows is the call and response stuff.
I'm not mad. I mean, what he's talking about, I'm actually not mad with it because like you said, I would equate it to me. That's a song like for black people, like they're not like us. We do things that they don't. He wouldn't know our culture or customs. It's not a harsh thing. That's just a reality. Like that's some real shit.
But thankfully she doesn't understand the A minor.
Right.
She'll understand the OVO. I'm like, ooh, yeah. When she get older, she's gonna be like, I can't believe you had me.
Listen, I'll say this. You want to be careful though, even if she don't understand it. That don't mean that stuff ain't circulating in the brain. What if she does understand it very quickly like that's because you might question you like, I was 6 years old and you had me singing, oh, what kind of dad?
I know.
You're supposed to be my Yoda?
Yeah, I know.
And Yoda's telling me to recite Sith scriptures? Like, playing with the dark side, even though I don't know what the dark side
is. I'm just telling you, it's an LA thing. It's a LA
thing. You see how pervasive the music is? We're grown ass men. We the leaders of household. But even we get sucked into and we think it's fun because we like the product.
And all I can say is that LA has not been this hyped since, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, 1996, when first off, fuck your bitch and the clique you claim. Because we was all on that East Coast, West Coast. Like, yeah, that's right. F the East Coast, F all of them. And my last point on this, if you rap, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If you rap niggas don't know anything else, do not fuck with a West Coast rapper. Because not only will they clown you, but they will get us shaking our ass to that. I mean, if it hadn't been proven before, No Vaseline, Dre Day, Dollars and Cents, hit them up. Now we got another one.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Do not do it.
I'm with all those diss tracks. Let me just say that off the top. I'm from the No Vaseline school. That was where I came in, but I'm with them all. But, and I had a few little bits to drink, so I'm let just come on out. But now that I am a little older and I've lived through hip hop, right? I'm not just talking about today's music. No, nigga, I've lived through hip hop. I remember when there wasn't no hip hop, and then there was, and then giving myself up to it and picking up the mic and producing on the stage, did all that. Thing though, I will say now as I'm older and you look back and like, okay, well, what was the benefit of all of this? There was a lot to benefit off of it, I suppose, in terms of the technical abilities of the rapper and the skill set and the clever wording. We see that these brothers are geniuses. That we can agree on. It would be dope if we can look at ourselves now without having to be called a hater or not anything negative. But if someone could be able to sit back and say, okay, that shit was dope. Now, Let's take that energy that we did for the battles amongst ourselves. What if we took that same cleverness, the same aggressive, let's release it, pop, pop, and all that, and we wrote the songs about them? How cold will we be as a people? World, we see how OVO, that shit ain't been out a month. It's doing it all over the world, right? You got politicians, you got everybody. You say it was co-opted. So Matt, so you see how powerful
Damn.
a
Yeah.
with when I first heard it, it sounds like production-wise, as Vlad alluded to, a throwaway track, which just has very clever, right to the minute, and we love that it's talking about somebody. That's what we really love about this. We love to see them fight. We love to see ourselves fight, right? So imagine if we took that same shit that we are great at and we made the song about the government, or we made this, or the songs about us getting reparations, or was about us, we're gonna build up our daughters because we're gonna get our grades. I mean, that sounds corny. Or my neighborhood's on point. No drug dealers in it. OV coons. Now imagine if we'd have flipped it and was talking about not us being an enemy with each other, but with them, and we had the and that gravitated the worldwide grip, we'd be unstoppable. That's what I'm just saying. It's something to think about because obviously we have the skill. We know how to do some ill shit. We know how to, like, look how we get our, yeah, the whole town set. Word, I know. We're fucking gods. We are fucking superheroes with our shit, our gift of mouth. That's all it is. It's nothing tangible. It was just his thoughts to paper with a beat. And look how it done got people acting. So imagine if we took that and we wrote it about, yo, we the shit. That's all I'm saying. So we see how powerful we are. We have to make a decision. Do we want to keep perpetrating the idea that it's hip hop when we attack only each other? Or is it really hip hop when it was us attacking? And I don't want to say attack, but when it was us rebelling against them and not ourselves. That's all I'm saying. That's why. And I look back in history now because I remember when Public Enemy was out. I remember when Ice Cube first came out. He was going, what do you say? Just think if niggas decide to retaliate. He wasn't talking about retaliating against each other. He was talking about retaliating against them. He said, I was going to go to their neighborhood and tear it up. But that got so I'm just saying, like, now we could probably see, like, one thing has been proven: we are dope, we are powerful, we are smart as hell, we're influential. The shit come out our mouth is influential. We can make a decision: do we want to use that for good or for evil? And then we have to also ask ourselves, if we have resistance to the question of that, why?
I would say we do because we've gotten into more brainwashing, where hip hop isn't just a black thing; it's for everyone. We want to share our culture. That's the one thing I have a huge problem with our community. We want validation, and it's not validation in, our success should be enough of validation, our money, our hard work, but validation that we get that pat on the head from people outside our culture. And I think that's too much. We want that validation. And I'm gonna go there. Hope the BI don't come for me. I look at Beyonce and Jay-Z talking about that album of the year. And I'm like, you really need that validation? After 6 tries? Y'all still talking about that?
Right.
They're billionaires. They've changed. I don't know if they say the world, maybe Beyonce has. They changed the world. They changed the culture.
Oh.
But they still need that validation. And I think that's where 400 years, as you would say. That's on.
It's something. It's something to ask the question on, but there's no question of the artistic ability Just there's no question about nothing of it. It's just like we see how powerful it is, but I don't know if we really know how powerful it is. It is so powerful that it's used against ourselves. That's how powerful it is. And it's that powerful. And it's people that know how powerful it is that they will never allow us to control it. Because they know if it was up to us, it probably wouldn't be this way.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we probably, and I'm not, I, I'm the older guy. We're the older people. So I would like salute Sexy Red to a degree, but I understand why that type of rap is where it positioned because it is so powerful. And you would rather have her and her sort of thing representing than to have, somebody who had like a Lauren Hill mindset and had
Kendrick
all that.
Lamar mindset.
Well, even a Kendrick Lamar, it's sort of, and it's interesting to see where this will place him. And I'm gonna say this: I have nothing against Kendrick Lamar. I've never listened to his albums, but I respect what he does because I can see like, yo, dude is super intelligent, very witty. He's a thinker, and I see him and I think of a Rakim or a Nas or something like that where he's got some knowledge about it. I just don't necessarily like his voice.
I'm with you.
His actual rapping voice, I'm just not a fan of, but I
I'm
take
with you.
nothing away from him. But it's interesting that I see how he has been positioned almost to be almost outside of the influence of rap culture. Because I've sometimes I'm like, do people be bumping his music? Does he really have streets like that? But to show that now he's been put in a position where he do seem like he's influencing, like everyone's standing up for him. He can get the town motivated on a high level. He can get the world motivated on a high level. I'd be curious to hear what his message is now, where he can really see, like, yo, I'm that dude. Like I'm the biggest. I could arguably be one of the biggest influential rappers of the game right now. I'd be curious to see with an intelligent guy like him, what his message will continue to be after doing something like this, which I don't know a lot about him, but I was actually shocked that he got into this battle. I didn't know that was in his thing. Great that it is, but I didn't know that he was. I was thinking he might think this is belittle to him or something like, oh, I'm not gonna go back and forth with the man. What the hell? But obviously he does, like, and he's great at it. But it'd be curious to see what the next thing for him is.
I don't know if you've seen the video where people talk about the butterfly effect of how we got here, in the
No,
sense that there was a song called "What Happened to That Boy" by Baby that had Pusha T on it. That was produced by the Pharrell Neptunes. Pusha T was cool with Pharrell, and apparently Baby never paid Pharrell for that beat, and Pusha T been like, fuck him all this time, and it ended up being Pusha T not fucking with Baby, Lil Wayne being said fuck Pusha T said fuck all them,
Man.
and it was just a snowball effect that ended up getting to Kendrick and Drake. And it's just, and everybody just says, all because Baby tried to be found for Pharrell. It's like,
wow.
And it kind of brings it back to the rap business. And the thing of it is, and when you think about that, that was what, 20 some years ago? Drake is Baby's cash cow now because he's signed to Lil Wayne, who's signed his Cash Money. I'm sure Baby's getting, I don't know where things are at now, but I'm sure he's eating off of Drake. And now, because of what he did back in 2007, I think, the cash cow that was Drake might be over because people are looking at him sideways. Like, you're not authentic. You're a half Jewish. And the problem isn't Drake being half Jewish. The problem is Drake is a half Jewish Canadian guy from Toronto. And he came out being that. There's a famous video of Lil Wayne saying, keep it Canadian. Like, don't try to be like us. This is who you are. Stay in your lane. And I guess he saw the lane that was going in Atlanta and said, I want to be a part of that. And he changed his whole aesthetic, his whole vibe, his whole rapping. And now he's getting called out for that. And it's like, the cash cow may be done.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but again, he didn't make himself successful. I would question the audience. Like, well, y'all know what he was, and y'all was on it, so can't be too mad
The
at
music,
him
the
giving
music
y'all
was
what you
good.
want.
You can't lie. The
Yeah,
music was good.
right. He's good. From what I heard, yeah, the
Yeah.
dude is dope. Like, you know, you can't
I
argue the art. I don't care how it was created. Can't argue the product. The product was dope, and he knew how to put on a certain look that was going to appeal to the audience that he was trying to get with. He's affiliated with people that cosign makes him an automatic. He gets trusted, right? Like you said, you had Wayne, Baby, Nicki, all these people that's co-signed, they're official. So yeah, he can come out. He don't have to be from the culture. He can rap good. As long as he's affiliated with black trusted faces, he'll be successful. Eminem showed you that. This takes nothing away from his art. I'm just saying he wouldn't be who he was if he didn't come out under Dre.
Well, I think damn, I hate to Kate. I would say Eminem is a little different because
So?
I would say who he is who he's remained.
No. But I'm saying if he didn't come out under Dre, he would not be where he's at today.
Yeah.
He would have had. He had to have a black, authentic cosign to be accepted in this world. He was. That's not taking away his talent, but we wouldn't even listen to his talent without the cosign.
He'd have been third base.
Yeah, he would have just been another white rapper. Well, there's been many, but you come out associated with the biggest gangster rapper in the world, who himself is wearing a trope, the gangster, you know. So, and he's co-signed because he has the biggest executive to pull him out of the hell of death row and say, you're gonna be the man regardless. Your talent is the shit, but I'm gonna make sure your talent is heard. And also, when you get established, here's this tape of this white boy. I need you to make a star. It's the only reason I'm giving him, bringing him to you, because he could have just put him out. There's a reason why they didn't just put him out by himself, right?
Right.
No, put him with the same way they did Drake. Put him. Okay, who the most official cosigns? Give them to him. It's the same thing they did with Justin Bieber.
Yep. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get sidetracked, but you mentioned like Dre using the trope. How did I'm really trying to understand how did he escape the whole on your old album cover, ye was a she thing? I still don't understand how he got past World Class Working Crew when that came out.
Well,
but salute
about,
to the machine.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is, who was saying that? Was that
Easy? It was easy.
Easy. See, the thing with Easy though, and what he's talking about is really the influence of Prince, because that's why they was dressing like that.
Yeah, but that might be the case. That might be the case.
But we love. But see, we didn't see Prince as some bad thing to emulate, because the people in the hood, we dressed that style. That was us. That was the ill style. That's why you had gangster. That's why there was the Arabian Prince on the cover of the NWA album, because he was the gangster Prince guy.
But my thing is like by 1992, like 1991, 92, when the whole gangster thing, and then you talking about smoking weed and popping guns, and it's like, oh yeah, but this was you.
Yeah,
so
but
how are you trying to
the guy smoking weed and pop, they look like that though. That's the style. That was in the streets. That wasn't a pop thing. That was a black thing. So it wasn't like you was looking funny style. That was the ill style. That was actually the style of that we know now. That was the Players of Detroit style. It had permeated through America because Prince came out on that Purple Rain. That was what the players in Detroit dressed like. So when you look at it, yeah, it wasn't nothing to clown on that. That was the hood. That was Player. It's just that the style changed, but it was still just this gangster of doing the funny shit. But that was the style of the street. That wasn't the style of white pop mainstream. That was our style. That's why everybody dressed like that. It was called Breed. That was the style back then. And Prince was the leader of that.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't a white thing. That was straight. That's the we go on a tangent. To me, that's the difference when like somebody bring up Lenny Kravitz. This is no disrespect to Lenny Kravitz. He's dope. But the difference is, I think that we don't think about, I think of it is Prince had the streets. He really had black folks. Lenny came from, he was a mainstream thing, was just put out. He didn't come through where he was the hit with black folks and then became popular. So we didn't have nothing to do with that. He didn't come with the funk. He came on some rock stuff, which was dope. But that wasn't from he wasn't grassroots like a Prince was grassroots. It might be hard for people to think about that now. But when Prince came out, that was from the soil. He was black famous. That appealed to us. We made him popular. So that's why we love him all the way. We never turned our back on him because that was our shit.
But
where some of these other dudes, they never had that grassroots support where they could just go tour the black circuit, because Lenny never did tour the black circuit. He came out on the white. So that's why when I don't know why it's not that they don't want to fuck with you. It's just that you didn't come from this.
But my thing is I felt like that was BS because we did. He was on the cover of Vibe and he was featuring Essence and all of them. We showed our respect. It's just like, okay, you're doing that. But,
right.
Our main thing is on hip hop and R&B. You come do that and we'll be on you even more. But, respect, salute, the black women thirsting for you, over you and all that. It's just that.
And that's really the only thing holding him down, because sister's going, there's a good looking brother. They want to love that, of course. But for everybody else that don't have the attraction part to it, it's like, oh man, homies,
listen to your music.
He's cool. I'm not bumping that, but yeah, salute. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I'm just thinking about that. I'm just like, why are you talking about you're not invited to the Source Awards? I'm like, first of all, why do you want to be there? Second of all, you ain't what Source Award content you bringing there. So that one, that just really escapes me. But it's like,
plus, that's that platform that he was on pushing that. That wasn't a black platform that put that talking point out anyway. So there's some other, to me, there was other agendas they kind of throwing in there too. He's just being used kind of in a sense, because we always loved him.
Yeah, we did. We just know you do this music over here. When you do something hot, we'll fuck with it.
Yeah,
when for the most part, we not.
Yeah, they're not gonna play it at the picnic, Playboy. They're not gonna play it at the club. Cats ain't rolling down the street on the summer night with the top down bumping Lenny. It's not nothing against it. That just ain't the vibe.
Right. It's not. We ain't bumping the Beatles like that.
Exactly.
No disrespect.
No disrespect.
We can all admit they're geniuses, but we ain't you throw that on at the cookout, they're gonna get your ass off.
Yeah. Are you gonna go my way? Like they might let you get one in. Now see what we will be playing is It Ain't Over Till It's Over.
Yeah.
And he got some cuts now.
Yeah.
He got some cuts. Let's be very clear.
Yeah. But
I don't know how we got there.
It just is what it is. Like Hootie and the Blowfish. Salute to you.
Hilarious.
But you ain't getting played at the cookout. Sorry. You're just not,
That's true. That's true. All right. X-Men 97. Let's jump over to some.
Yes, indeed. It's been very polarizing because I'm on the Magneto's right. And everybody, okay. I posted up in one of the groups I'm in, the Blur group, and I said, why are the X-Men mad at Magneto? He saved the mutant's life.
Right.
And they're like, well, he saved 1,000 or a couple thousand, tens of thousands of mutants, but he killed millions of Homo sapiens. And I'm like, well, how long it's kind of like, well, how long have they been going after mutants? So what are those Homo sapiens been doing to stop this massacre? So, but yeah, so first of all, season is great. It's been really great. One episode I didn't like, that Mojo episode.
Yeah. That's kind of like a little pause, I guess. You go to the bathroom episode or something.
But overall, it's very layered. very complicated. I have a friend of mine. He was an animator on there. He's letting me know that there definitely is an agenda. If you
Interesting.
haven't peeped it out, there definitely
Well,
the
what
show.
agenda is this?
Well, the showrunner, the black showrunner, he is an adopted white. I'm sorry, adopted by white parents, and he's gay. So if you're thinking that there are some subliminals, some agendas in there, I've been told, yeah, it's because that's his background.
Not mad
And
at that.
if you're looking at the look of Magneto, people say stuff about Magneto's look that he's looking a little pride parade-ish. Yeah, that's probably why. And there has been a lot more of the themes of the X-Men this season being more about the LGBTQ community than it has been with marginalized ethnic communities. Like back in the day, being Black communities, but Hispanic communities. So mostly that. Still doesn't take anything away from the storylines and the characters they've done. A lot of the callbacks, a lot of the Easter eggs that they did in there. And on top of that, just a really good story and some really just like holy shit moments. When the Sentinels came to Genosha, holy shit. When Gambit did what he did, holy shit. And then when Magneto got released and I saw that, I'm like, okay, he's coming to save the day. He's like, nah, I'm saying F everybody. But he took the whole world out. And I was like, I'm like, well, it's like, hey, America, the UN, Britain, Russia, y'all been letting this go on. So y'all can get the smoke too.
And he's still a Jewish man in this, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, he has that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like off the top.
I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, off the top. I'm on site. Y'all killed my family. He always brings that up. So I'm not, that's what I said, off the top. I'm not mad at, like, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like that episode, one of the things I want to get your take on this because people have been saying that Wolverine has been downplayed a little bit, that they've been letting the other mutants shine. And for me, the fact that they did that, when you got to the last two episodes, episode 9, where he's saying, "Oh, Magneto declared war on the entire world. We need to stop it." I'm looking at Wolverine like, what do you mean? Y'all was about to get murked by those Prime Sentinels. All the mutants. You should be like, I'm thinking like, that ain't the Logan I remember. He'd be like, he shouldn't have done it, but I understand. And then in episode 10, when he did the killing blow and he up to talking about, I've been many wars and you out of pocket, I kind of like, yeah, I don't like how they changed that because in the comic book, yes, this is based off the comic books. I'm not a stickler for source material, but in the comic book, it made sense why Wolverine went for that killing blow and why Magneto went that way. And here, it just kind of seemed like, you know what? Like, to me, that's the only thing I felt Magneto did wrong. In this episode, I don't know why he pulled his adamantium out. He could have subdued him without doing that. Whereas in the book, Magneto, Wolverine was going for the throat and everything. Right. So it was like, I got to stop him, period.
Well, I mean, in the context of the show, I thought it was great. And I thought it was great because I do have some remembrance of context of where it comes from in the book. I don't remember the storyline in the book. I just remember that it was a cool thing that happened in the comics. And it was one of those things that it was one of those moments in Marvel Comics. It was like, oh, the moment where they pulled the thing. So to actually see it on screen was cool. I don't know how it would play to somebody who is not versed into X-Men if it may just seem like, oh, that was a harsh, kind of random thing to do. Why didn't he could have did it a long time ago? Or why is he doing that?
Yeah.
So
that's the only issue I had with that. Like, he could have been done that. What was it about?
Looking at it, or I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't really watch the original one like that. I watch a few of them sometimes, but I was a little older kind of when it came, so I wasn't really watching stuff like that. So I had low expectations going into this. And plus, I'm kind of shaky on the Marvel stuff, on Marvel in general. But when I started watching this when it first started, I was impressed, like first I thought the animation was cool. You know, it's not. I'm an anime guy, but I was like, okay, this is some dope American styled animation. It reminds me of the original, but it's done today. And they were just the little details that they would have in it, and plus it just looked like the comic so much. I thought it was fantastic. And I thought that the way that they were doing the stories and the way they were paced in the episodes, especially the first ones I saw, I was like, wow, this is way better than I thought this was going to be. I thought it was going to be just like another kid show, but I was like, no, I can actually watch this and I'm all into it. I think my favorite episode, ah, was it the one that Gambit died?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember what it was
The
called.
Attack on Genosha.
Yeah,
I think
that
it was
was
Bright Eyes.
crazy because it was just first it was kind of getting real melodramatic and all this soap opera type shit. And then when they go to the kind of battle at the end, I was just like, yo, I was so invested when I was watching it, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. And it's just like, I was just like, yo, that's some of the best TV I've seen in a minute. Like, I was all into it. My emotions were all into it. And I thought the entire series was just well done, man. Like I didn't expect it to be that great. Uh, I would put it up there. Like I think the Invincible TV series is also well done, and I thought they were both right there, man, for an American superhero cartoon animation. This is some good stuff. And I'm also a fan of the DC movies. And I was like, you know what? All of these guys are putting out some really good stuff. Um, and I hope they continue with this. So I thought the X Men was dope. I'm curious to see what they do next. I understand that they're doing some of these comic stories and stuff, but I wonder, like, okay, once they get through all of that, what they gonna do? Are they? And I would love for them to sort of create new stuff with these same characters and continue on. Um, but I want this to last a little bit.
Well,
So I can't. So I'm curious to see what's next.
couple things. I want to go back to the episode after the Genosha attack. Our boy Steve Rogers, he was on that
Uh,
bullshit once again. It's like he up there like, no, you can't do this to Rogue. You stop, da, da, da.
right.
And she kind of like, well, they just came at us at Genosha. Where were you at then? And he pretty much gave us the red. That's different. You can't be on this revenge.
Right. Can I say this real quick? That's the one thing that I'm curious to see how they handle. I think that for a lot of people, our interpretation of Captain America is what we see in these movies and even Iron Man. And there's such a prominent role, and a lot of this is built off of their backs. To see them act a different way in other Marvel related media, it's a little jarring. And I don't think it's fair to the characters, but in the sense that we're not reading the books like that. And so we just go off of what we've seen so much of. I almost don't want them to have Captain America and Iron Man in this cartoon, uh, or otherwise make them entirely different because yeah, the way he was, I kind of felt like, man, was he being out of character? But then I thought about, well, no, maybe Captain America be on some patriotic, follow the leader bullshit as opposed to just going out and handling business. In the movies, they don't listen to no leadership. It seemed like they don't listen to the government. They do what the fuck they want. But in here, they standing in the White House looking at the screen and while the world getting. I'm like, why aren't they calling the motherfuckers and going, hell, what you watching TV for? Like, what kind of Captain America? But again, that's what I say. It's unfair to the character because I think that way, but that's how he's portrayed in here.
I peeped that as well. Is since like, no, don't help. Shit's going to hell, and we need our protectors.
Yeah,
You guys
in the White House.
The new world order when everything collapses.
Yeah,
that's how I saw it.
I don't know, sir. If we go, like, man, if you don't get your ass out there.
or there's other part of me was like, yeah, I don't want that smoke. The mutants are going crazy. Let them kill themselves and then let us go see it.
Yeah, what I did, I'll tell you what I did. What was dope though is just a little bit we saw Black Panther and them getting busy for a little bit. I would love to see some more of that. Like,
because it's kind of funny. They showed up at Wakanda, and since we've been educated through the movies, I was looking at it like, yeah, them Prime Sentinels don't want that smoke. They don't want that.
Right.
I'm like, you think you can get them, but okay. Fuck around and find out if you want.
Yeah.
But I love the ending.
Mm.
I'm kind of glad they didn't go with the comic book where Professor X shuts down Magneto's mind, and then the problems that stem out of that. But the fact that now they got these time displaced X-Men, the X-Men apparently they're missing for the core, Xavier, Scott, Jean, Beast, Rogue, Wolverine, and are in 2 different time periods.
Is that really in the book? Is that from the book?
No, that's the deviation right there. Now, let me take that back. Part of it is from the book, where in the sense of Scott and Jean, we saw them in the future, and they meet up with little Nathan. That's canon in the sense of that happened where they got time displaced, but the way they're doing it is totally different. And then the whole thing with the other part of the team being in the past, never seen that before. So this is really kind of interesting. And then, of course, they had to tease Gambit's return, which, I ain't gonna lie, when they killed Gambit, I was kind of like, oh, wow, this thing got stakes, because Gambit is a fan favorite from the original series, and they killed him. And I was like, damn. But at the end, where Apocalypse shows up and they show that card and he says death, which that's canon from the books. Gambit did become one of the members of Apocalypse's Horsemen as Death. So I was like, oh, okay. Part of me is like, it's cool keeping with canon. The other part of me is, but then you take away the stakes because, you killed him, and that kind of felt terminal. But it is comic books, and death is only lasts till a new writer figures out a way to bring him back.
Right. Okay. The other thing I think about too is, as popular as it seems like this show was to the fans, and I'm sure they're coming back with more, how this will this have any effect on the live action portrayal of the X-Men? I want them to be portrayed like this. I don't want to see the continuation of those movies per se. This is, to me, the closest thing I've seen that feels like the X-Men that I remember in my mind from the books. This is it. Like, I would love the movies to have this type of flavor. If it, not say it can be done, but I'm curious what they're going to do. Because if we fall in love with this and then you give us a whole different X-Men, it just seems kind of confusing. But
well, I believe I read that this is kind of not canon to the MCU, but
I don't want it to be canon, but the look and feel of it.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think the fact that Feige had his hands in this should bode well to what that representation is going to be once they make it to the MCU. And my thing is that people were talking about how dope Cyclops was and how they portrayed it. I'm like, yeah, you can't go back. You can't give us that portrayal, that characterization, the way he was doing his powers as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't go backwards.
He was badass. But that's how he was in the books. Like, he was the leader. He wasn't some moping. The way he been in the movies, straight sucker.
Well, that's got to blame Bryan Singer and the Fox marketing team. They right or wrong, they realized the cash cow was Wolverine. They was gonna milk the fuck out of it.
Yeah. And even that they still ain't show us we think we're gonna finally get the Wolverine costume with this new movie, but we still haven't seen, in my opinion, the Wolverine from the books in the show.
Logan got close to
it. In attitude, but and he wasn't in the costume really much on that particular storyline that they're doing, but I'm talking about the traditional, Wolverine that we all like. When I first heard Wolverine's gonna be in a movie, I thought that he was gonna walk right out with the yellow or whatever, the brown. Let's say he was wearing Matrix knockoff outfits and shit.
Yeah, I love how they took a shot at the X-Men movies when they gave Cable his X-Men yellow and blue outfit, and he said, "What'd you expect? Black leather?" I'm like, I was like, okay, they ain't forgot Bryan Singer. They're still mad at you.
It worked at the time, but you don't have to do that now. You can give us the straight costume character. Nobody's gonna
costume design and CGI has come a long way that you can make it look good. versus what we saw initially.
Speaking of costumes, let's switch gears for a second. The Superman costume reveal.
So you hold on for a minute. I need to close the door because I can hear the
Yeah.
kids outside.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have it in front of me here. Let me see if I can find it while he's doing his thing. But the new Superman costume came out, and I wanted to get the opinions on that bad boy. Let me see if I can get this here. James Gunn. All right. A second. Here we go. Let's see if this works. All right. Bear with me. All right. So this right here. I don't even know the name of the actor. I'm gonna call him Henry Cavill Light or Cavill, whatever. I just my quick take. Now, let me say this. I have become, because I wasn't a big fan when it first came out, but now Man of Steel is one of my favorite comic book movies. One of favorite, not the favorite. I think it's great. As a matter of fact, I was just watching it the other day. And Henry Cavill, is that his name?
The Cavill. That's
Henry Cavill, excuse me. Yes, Henry Cavill. That's my Superman. And I grew up with Christopher Reeve Superman, but Henry Cavill is my Superman. With that said, I am very excited to see what they do with this new movie. With that also said, this costume right here, I don't hate it. I think it, from the way it looks here, it is too close to the Zack Snyder Superman look to me. So I question what was the reason to. When I look at this right now, if I didn't know anything about this production, I just knew that they're coming with a new Superman, I would be like, why do they have somebody that looks like Henry Cavill? Like it doesn't,
That
you know what I
part.
mean? Like that doesn't, I'm like, what's the point? This isn't different. Now the movie, it may be in fact different, but based off of this is the first thing I see. I just scratch my head. I'm something like, this looks like a knockoff of what we've already seen.
It's giving me Superman Returns vibe, where they got Brandon Routh, who people said favored Christopher Reeves, and they were doing too much of a homage and continuation of the original series of films.
Yeah, I think that movie was a continuation of, I think, after part 2 or something. If it just went a different timeline, it was the same sort of thing, I think. But with that said, what do you think about this? Does this excite you, or?
It doesn't excite me at all. The more interesting thing is what the hell is that in the background, which clearly is deliberate. But the costume, I really don't care. You're not going to deviate too far from the source material. People breaking down the grooves in the costume, the type of boots, the shield, saying that it's close to the Kingdom Come shield Superman emblem. I'm like, I really don't care. As long as to me, it doesn't really bother me. As long as we get away from the original Superman costume, which I thought Christopher Reeves did as good a job as possible, considering the technology back then and him not getting on the routine to look like Cavill. But I'm more than happy and acceptable as long as you keep the color scheme. Let's go with that. I didn't care that they got rid of the trunks. People got to joking. Why your underwear on the outside, homie?
So. Yeah, it's kind of weird, actually. But I get it. I guess it's the way it came out.
Yeah.
But
my thing is what I guess the thing is like shit's all hell's breaking loose. Superman is about to go save the day. My thing is that this doesn't really get that across because Superman moves at the speed of faster than speeding bullet. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna let them think they win and I'm gonna come in and save the day. Give him about kind of like Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna give him 3 rounds before I knock him out.
You know what? I wouldn't be mad if he zoomed out and Lois was laying in the bed. At least I'd be like, okay, he put in some work. He's like, let me okay, I done knocked this one out. Let me go knock these out. I wouldn't be mad at that. I'd be like, okay, it might be kind of funny or something, but yeah, he's
Yeah,
putting on the boots, the sense of urgency. I'm like, what is he like? Does he just not want to be Superman or something? Like, I'm sick of this shit.
I don't want that again. I understand. You have made me understand what Gunn was trying to accomplish with this character over those three films. Well, the
It's
first
about
two films.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Zack Snyder. But I do not want to see a Superman having an existential crisis of, do I want to be Superman? What does it mean to be Superman? How do I? No, I don't want to see that. I just want to, you know, get in there,
Yeah,
kick your
I get
ass.
that. I can understand that. I do think though, I guess it would be to define what the tone of this is because I feel like we're in a world of I feel like every other superhero movie does that though, where the character is questioned what he's doing or why he's doing it. Um, Sometimes the people are against him or he's trying to be the hero. And I feel like the ultimate person who would deal with that would be Superman because he is the ultimate power. Like he's not he's an alien and he lets you know that he's an alien and he's more powerful than anything. I don't see how you could do an intelligence story in today's world and that's not addressed unless you were doing it as a lighthearted type of a movie where you don't deal with it at all. Because then
Well,
it wouldn't be real to me. It's like, okay, well, I mean, that's fine, but like the cartoons or something, I could see doing that. They don't have to address that because it's not a part of it. But if it's supposed to be a serious movie, I don't see how you don't have some of that in it. But
for,
and it really plays in because of who Superman is. You could get away with it in some of the other movies, other characters, because they can be stopped, but he can't be stopped. And so the question is always, but why would he do it? Why would he be good? And why wouldn't they be scared of him?
well, because that good old American propaganda. He was raised in
Well,
the
that's what I'm saying.
heartland of
Is that what you want to
America
see?
and
And
got
that's
them
what,
values.
but see that begs the question. It's not the character, it's the person watching it. You want to see an American propaganda movie. That's a bigger question. But that's what you sound like what you're saying.
No, I was just saying why he would do it. I'm just saying what they got. That's what they came up with. You know, he was
Yeah,
raised by some
back
good
then.
old. But now, for me, I'm thinking Superman has been in existence what 86 years now.
Something.
I believe. I think a 5-year-old knows the story, so I don't feel like you need.
I
Really?
don't know about that.
Okay,
Why would they? You know, there's so many other things that they have their attention.
that's true. Okay, so let's say 13 and up. I think 13 and up at this point. They know who Superman is. They have the
And and and
powers.
and how would they know Superman if they're 13?
I mean, the movies by
Man of
this point.
Steel, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. Damn.
So that's what I'm saying. And if you're going to show them something, if they do know that it's like the essential or whatever qualities of his character. Now, if you take that away and you say, well, the character that you know, no one cares that he's all powerful. He's just going to run around saving people. I don't see how they, after all of the stuff that they have been watching, how they would accept that. If they grew up watching Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, all these types of movies, the X-Men movies, it's all about they're always being feared by the people. And if you give them the most powerful superhero of all time and they just embrace him, I would think that they would be like, that's bullshit. Every superhero I've ever seen has to fight with the how is the most powerful alien they just gonna bow down to him? Like I don't think that would work today. Not with the kids of today after what they'd be watching. That's why I'm saying I don't. Christopher Reeve that worked back then, but we're too cynical now. That's no one's gonna. I don't think. And to me, it's the people that are nostalgia for that that keep bringing this up. I don't see younger people saying, "Oh," but I could be wrong too. I'm just saying I don't see how it would make. And we haven't done that yet. So I'd be curious: is this movie going to be comical and not deal with that? It would be interesting to see the effect of how people will respond to that. Like I don't think I was supposed to say, I don't think a just an all American Superman movie. That would be some shit if they did that. Actually, in today's world, I'd be very interested to see them pull that off. And they say the all American way because well, then what's the American way?
That's true.
To me, that sounds like we're gonna make America great again. Well, what American way are you talking about, Superman? The American way of the civil rights movement, or are you talking about the American way of, they don't deal with my issues? I don't see how they're gonna pull it off. And they don't even deal with that in Superman movies. What am I holding on the screen? But I'd be very curious to see them do that. If they're riding in the streets, Superman, civil unrest, what you gonna do? That'd be a cool story.
That would be. They actually did that in the comics when I think it was a couple of years ago. They were doing some type of protesting, and Superman had been depowered, and he was standing. Yeah.
Yes, that was.
I don't know where the story went, but whatever.
He had like the jeans on and all that shit.
Yeah,
that's what was going.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
guess who? But then you look at who wrote it. So,
who wrote it?
I believe that's John Michael Straczynski, who I love.
Oh, yeah.
But is he gonna write it's the same question you brought up earlier we didn't get into. Well, who wrote the Magneto to be like that? And who wrote Wolverine and to have that stance? If you wrote it, you would have probably had the X-Men join Magneto. Hell yeah. They not like us. They done killed us for years. Hell, we ride. Standing. Or you'd be like, Wolverine, if you don't get your coon soft shoe ass over here with the rest of us, you're gonna get taken out too.
I'm sorry, sidetrack. I don't mean to go back, but I kind of like the fact that Rogue was like, they killed my man. I'm going with my man. I didn't been fighting, daughter. She essentially gave the black woman response. I'm tired. That's what she said. I'm tired. Let me go up to the asteroid M, get this Magneto D down. Y'all figure that shit out.
Is Rogue powered like that in the books? I was like, she was Superman to me or something. Like she was doing some stuff.
That's the thing. I wish Mark was here to explain it because I had some issues in that episode 10 when she was fighting Bastion. I'm like, why are all these mutants in space breathing perfectly fine? Jubilee, Rogue, and Sunspot. Rogue, she absorbed Miss Marvel's powers. She got some of the Kree, not the Captain Marvel we see in the books, but a little less power. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm willing to accept it because I know she got Miss Marvel's powers, and I don't know all the stuff that she can do. But when Sunspot was in space and Jubilee and Storm, I'm like, wait a minute. I was like,
Jubilee putting in work. I was like, really? I was like, she the one gonna kill them? I was like, it still was dope, but I was laughing. I was like, said, what you gonna hit me with some fireworks?
She was like, yeah, I heard that before. I was like, hey, well, show him. But yeah, I'm sorry, Trevor. Sorry. But yeah, what I was gonna say is James Gunn in DC, he's 2 for 2. Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, that was a good fun movie. Peacemaker, good fun series. So I'm up to seeing what he's going to do.
Is it going to be a comedy or something? Is it going to be a funny kind of? Because that seemed like that's his bag. Like,
I mean, look at I was about to say Guardians of the Galaxy. That definitely was.
That's all fun. Yeah.
But I mean, he was able to establish the lore and draw us in with all the different elements of the Marvel cosmos. So I we'll see how things go. And the thing about him is at least he is a fan of the comic books. So
yeah, no doubt. I'm excited to see. It'll be interesting because it's what comes out next year. I am so not hyped to go to movies. I am hyped to watch movies, but it'll be interesting to go see a movie opening day. It's a big budget thing. The trailer is going to really decide a lot, obviously, whenever that does drop. But I am excited to see what they do. They got a lot riding on this. I can imagine the pressure is ridiculous because if this shit don't work, you're right. Yeah, they can't handle no more L's. This is be the biggest thing. If this shit ain't hitting, And I'm sure Marvel or somebody, the evil villain Kevin Feige done already bought up the hackers and whatever companies, black market companies that push the narrative to sway attention. He's already probably like, okay, on this date, I want you to start the negative Superman campaign online and push this
You know
through.
what? I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that because, as you've kind of pointed out,
I see where you're gonna go with this.
superhero movies
Right.
ain't what they used to be. So maybe you don't want to see Warner. Maybe there's a competitiveness where they don't want to see them succeed,
Right.
but they got to think of the bigger picture that,
If
hey,
that
this might
falls,
set
we
the
all can
stand.
fall. Yeah.
Right.
That's true. That
So
is
I don't know about that. They like, nah, they like, no, we gotta get this up because
That's
if
true.
that hits, it might be a precursor of them getting their stuff back together, hitting the way it used to.
True. That's true. Very good point. Very good point. Yeah.
Because
This would be because that's the thing. If this does not work, it ain't just gonna be an L for DC. It's gonna be an L for everybody's gonna feel that.
Right. Because this is the superhero. This is Mr. Superhero right here.
Which is interesting. If we look back though when Man of Steel came out, Man of Steel was very divided, kind of felt like, but that didn't have nothing. Well, that was in the height of the Marvel machine, was just crank. I think Iron Man 2, Avengers that came out already, I believe, and so they was like killing them. So when this came out, this didn't affect Marvel at all because Marvel was just killing everything. Marvel dropped was killing.
Yeah, that was 2013. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So that was right after Avengers, and people are writing. Marvel ain't what it used to be. They've had some low box office. I can't even remember what was the last movie they put out. The Marvels. Yeah, that was a bomb. So they might want to sit back and be like, "Ha ha, DC, da da da," but they can't because they're like, "Damn."
If nothing else, all of them is like, "Yo, Sony, stop fucking up the game. Like, y'all, you can't. No more Madam Webs. And y'all messing the game up.
It's funny.
I got the Craven about to come out. That hopefully that's not terrible."
It's funny you mentioned that. As I was sitting on the couch, my daughter just getting on my nerves with the damn iPad. I want to be like, "Are the kids next door at home?" So I'm just like, "Go play in the sun."
Wow, go play outside. Imagine.
And she was just driving me crazy. Look at this. I'm like, yes, another Hello Kitty drawing. Yeah, I love my baby. Might know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, hopefully she don't see this one day. Oh, that's mom. Baby, can you get me another one of them? Remember that time you didn't like you put me on blast? Yeah, get it yourself.
But so I couldn't find anything to watch, and Madam Web was on Netflix. I said, why not? Let me see how bad this is. Yes, on Netflix. I said, why not? Let me watch it. I'm 29 minutes left in the movie, and I'm scratching my head like, why everybody saying this movie terrible? I mean, it ain't earth-shattering, ain't like it should have did $500 million, but people talking about it being bad. I'm like, nah, it's a cool little story. It ain't superhero action. No, not at all.
Right. Okay.
But it has a pretty interesting story that has me engaged, and it's not a bad put together film. It's just not. It's just that when you hear Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, Marvel, you're just like, okay, where's the costume superhero? Where's the big bad guy? And it's just it's a really unique story as this. Okay, so what happens is Madam Web's mother was in she was in some South American country trying to find this spider that might have healing properties. And the person she's working with, when she found the spider, shot her, and then she got taken by these spider things to an underwater cave. I'm sorry. The other thing was she was pregnant. Her mother was pregnant with her at the time.
Lord,
the baby was born, the mother died, and then
the spiders raised the baby, or
no, she ended up going into foster care. But I was just like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But it's kind of just ties back to and you still just like, where is the action? nice, good, cool story. Where's the fucking action? So that's probably the only problem with that. And you know, it probably would have been better as a television show or Peacock or Max movie, and not a theatrical release. But I'm like, I'm not seeing the hate for this. It's just I want some action. That's about it.
You know, I think a lot of movies fall into that in recent times where if it doesn't meet some expectation or something, or somebody says this is not good, it's a snowball thing, or oh, this is terrible. And then sometimes will stop you from actually seeing the movie, or you go into it thinking, oh, this is not going to be that. But then when you watch the movie kind of years later, you'd be like, you know, I actually kind of like this. Like, this is not bad. Now that I have no expectation, I'm just sitting at home watching something. I want to be entertained. It ain't got to be fucking Endgame every time, or you know, this is a cool little movie. And I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna pull this up. I was getting clowned on the Discord, but this movie right here, it's not movie of the year or anything close to that. But I've watched this recently. Shit was badass.
It was a good movie.
It was cool.
Was this after the slap?
No, this was well before the slap.
Okay. Because I can't remember what. I don't remember it. It was something that happened with Will Smith before that kind of helped taint the release of that film. But anyway, I watched that movie and I'm like, and when I saw it, I'm like, what are people shitting on this movie about? It's actually a really interesting story.
Yeah, it was, and to me, you know, I'm trying to. Again, I remember when I saw it in the theater, when I walked away from it, there's a certain part in the movie, if you remember, where it becomes a superhero movie, in my opinion. Like the dude, all these abilities, and you know, and of course the cloning and stuff. I said, okay, this is a science fiction comic book type of a movie, and I accepted that. You know, I didn't feel like this was some espionage real world thing. This was a sci-fi movie, and it's shot a certain way on purpose, and for a lot of people it looks fake because, you know, it's a high frame rate movie, which you don't normally have. I mean, it's a super effects movie, but watching it now, like I said, it looked incredible. I wish I could see it in 3D, because you can see obviously that there's a lot of 3D type of shots but I don't have a 3D TV. But it's a great action movie. You know, I wouldn't say you need to run out and watch it, but it ain't bad. You know, you'll be watching. You get you something to drink or smoke. You'll be, oh shit, yeah. You know, it's cool.
Like, and people still shitting on Venom. I'm like, Venom was not a bad movie.
I have to see that one.
Yeah, I thought the first one. The second one I haven't got it, and watched that actually be a pretty decent movie as well. But the first Venom, I'm like, I have to get on Mark and Q-Storm about it. Stop with the shit. That's not how it was in the comics. Read the fucking comic books. I want to say, read the fucking comic books. They got the animated series if you want to watch that. They're trying to do Venom without having Spider-Man because they loaned him to MCU. Let it go. Let it go.
It wasn't they need to really get that together, though. I don't really understand. It's dumb that he ain't in it, but I mean, I get it business wise, but you would think at this point you own all of it, or you have the rights to all of it. It would be a no brainer money wise if they had him. Whether they even brought Venom in Spider-Man's movie, it just seemed like a no brainer. Like, that character is a fan favorite, regardless if those movies are trash or not. That's a fan favorite character.
Well,
like if Venom showed up in the Spider-Man movie, or if he showed up in one of the Marvel movies and it was all out battle, and
I can't believe he wasn't in No Way Home.
People would be like, "Oh shit, yeah!" You know, it'd be cool.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. But I mean, I watched that movie and I'm like, this ain't Endgame, it ain't Civil War, it ain't Winter Soldier, but it's a nice popcorn comic book film. You know, it made what, 800 million, I think. So it's like people liked it. But you know, Marvel's taking an L. I'm glad to see that they're taking a step back. You know, Bob Iger, who, you know, whatever, he's telling them we don't bring back to reducing our content, and it's smart. to me, going those what 15? No, yeah, it was about 12 years leading up to Endgame.
Mm.
You know, salute to Feige for holding it all together. And you know, you can only be
Hell
a,
of a
a
run.
maestro. You can Quincy Jones only had so many hits in it
Yeah. Hell of a run.
before you get to your pinnacle. I don't know what it was. I guess we get back on the block. Let's say back on the block because he got the Grammy for it. It wasn't the commercial set, but you know.
Well, I mean, I would throw the Michael stuff in there.
No, I would say that was probably this end point where he's like, okay, after
Oh,
that, yeah, because you know he got a
yeah.
Grammy. I don't know how it's sold, but he got a Grammy for it. And it's like, okay, what's next? And they didn't really plan for that because of the actors. You know, they probably didn't plan on the actors leaving, and then who they selected to replace them. One, you know, we're gonna go with the Young Avengers team, and you know, the Kate Bishops and
Mm.
the Eternals. I still don't understand. Beautiful looking film, the Eternals, beautiful looking film. I still don't understand why you went with that. The problem is like I can't shit on him because who would have he went with Guardians of the Galaxy. You saw how that became, how huge that became with pop culture. But still, when you got the X-Men and Fantastic Four wrapped in, why are you going with the Eternals? What else you got? The Marvels. Why are you going with that? Some of these decisions I'm just not getting. We're gonna keep going on and on with Wakanda Forever. Should have recasted T'Challa. I get it, but you should have recasted them because what you ended up doing, no.
You know,
So,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
So for me, I'm hoping that they're just going to press reset. I say bring back Captain America ain't dead. I don't know if they can get Chris Evans, but Captain America.
Did you hear the rumor? He's supposed to be
he's
coming
going
back.
to
be a
be
TV
Deadpool.
show.
Oh,
No, he's supposed to have a
oh
TV
yeah,
That's
but
to
he
show
put
what
the
he was
jewels back.
doing, which I don't think
Yeah.
they should do that.
Nah.
Because we already know the outcome. Like this.
To me, you can't bring first. To me, you can't even put a hint out of Chris Evans comes back as Captain America, or even talk about that when you've already greenlit not only a Sam Wilson Captain America, but a black Captain America. That's just gonna fuck up that movie. Period. Plain and simple. I think we can all agree on that. You know, they got Hawk, but the problem with the Hawk is a lot of people are thinking he's been neutered. That he ain't the Hawk. The Hawk.
Oh, Hulk.
Yeah, they're talking about doing World War Hawk and all that. And it's like, problem is you got too many people saying the same thing that he ain't the Hawk. That he's been neutered.
Well, they're gonna have the Red Hulk in the Captain America movie.
So
I think they're having the same problem to me their books have. I think the concept of the continuous story is flawed. The same way it runs out in the comics, and no one's buying those comics. And it's not, there's multiple reasons, but one of the main things to me, because why does anime work? Because those are one and done stories. They don't, there's a few outliers that go on forever, but the industry isn't based off of those. You know, One Piece is not doesn't base everything off of that. Those stories end. You know, Attack on Titan ended. Death Note had an end to it. You know, and then they brought out a new story of new characters and a new thing to tell. The problem with, to me, American comics, DC, is that it's just, they want you to think that this is the same character this whole time, just going through all of this stuff, and they've run out of things to do. Run out of, it's a flawed concept. You can't tell stories like that. The only reason they're telling stories like that is because of economic reasons, not for storyline reasons, and that's why it's flawed. And the movies are doing the same thing. They would be more successful, in my opinion, if they didn't have to stick to this timeline canon, and every movie could be different. So what? Why does this need to be a continuous story? I don't understand. I mean, I understand because they want to make the money, but you own
it was successful.
You own all the characters. You're gonna run out of stories to tell if you just keep this, and they all have to fit within the same thing. Then the characters can't be who they are. It's gonna be kowtowed to. It has to match to this. You can't tell stories like that. Nobody tells stories like that. It'll work in the beginning, but you think you're gonna base your industry on it, you'll fail. because it's not gonna work. It ain't never worked.
And there were cracks in that type of story when they did
It never. That's what I say. The source material has shown you that, which is why now the dominant storytelling was dominant, which is why manga and anime have took it away. They own
to,
that.
to me, they should, and I can't believe I'm making this analogy, but it's been successful. They're going on 60 years. To me, they need to take a page out of the
Who's going
James
on 60
Bond.
years?
James Bond is going on 60 years now.
Oh, okay, right.
And self-contained stories, they're not connected. And then when an actor left, here's a new one, new story, ain't connected to the last. Here's a whole new It's like, well, that James Bond was acting like, well, it's a new James Bond, a new one. And but unfortunately, the problem with Marvel is that they've had it in this whole bubble of everything's connected. But hey,
but that's a
if James Bond can do it, you guys can do it as well. Sign to a three picture deal. We're going to tell this story in 3 pictures, and then we're going to do a new Captain America story, or a new Iron Man story, or a new Thor, Spider-Man, X-Men, whatever.
You don't even used to it that way. It really, even if you kept Chris Evans and you said we're just going to do a different storyline, you're still going to play Cap. This is going to be totally different. They ain't got nothing to do with that. Why wouldn't we not want to see that? We love you think, oh, it's just not tied in, so I'm not going to it. Stop it. If you be the first, oh, this is a different, you get a different director with a whole different feel to it. And like, boom, just like they do in the comics.
Yeah.
That's what made me like the Dark Knight Returns so great. It wasn't in canon with, there's a whole different look that had nothing to do. And that changed the game. And we still see the influence of that today. Why don't they do that? I mean, that's what DC kind of does with their movies. Joker, they ain't got shit to do with nothing. It's just a different take on the character, successful. Of course, economics is going to say they'll do a sequel to it, but I would hope they're smart enough to know, like, yo, we can do a whole different Joker thing later. Doesn't have to be the same thing. I tip my hat to Sony. They do that. They don't give a fuck. They're like, we're going to tell Spider-Man stories. It ain't got to be one long, continuous thing. Get a new Spider-Man, new director, vision. That's their set of movies. Successful. Okay, go to this one. Cool. Like Marvel could do the same thing. They're gonna have to at a certain point. There's just no way you can keep this going. That's why I think I don't care what kind of movies they do until they're just able to strip away and let these people do their shit. It's always going to be judged by Endgame, Infinity War, and we're always going to nitpick how the story
Phase one.
Yeah,
no, the Infinity Saga. There we go. The Infinity Saga.
Yeah, it's always going to be held against that if they're telling us this is just a continuation. The same way with a Graffiti Bridge or something. Just make a whole new thing. You're not going to be able to make Purple Rain 2. Leave it alone. You're not going to be able to make Infinity War 3. Just do something totally different. We're going to come. We want to see the characters. I don't want to see it don't have to be the same story. I really don't understand. Whoever thought that, they done. They should be done. Because it ain't working.
Well, I think a part of it is they became
a slave to it.
They became a victim to the Comic-Con audience. And same thing I yell at Q and Mark about, Comic-Con audience, 180,000 comic books bought a month. Why the fuck are you catering to those? You got this $1 billion audience that don't give a damn about canon and all that stuff.
Make good movies.
They've shown you it. Salute to the people who decade after decade bought the comic books, but it's different medium. If you want those stories, go read the comics.
Yeah, and I still wouldn't be mad if they were like, okay, we're gonna do, I don't know, another one. We're gonna do the Scroll War or something, but it's not in the canon of this shit. But we're still gonna pull the same fucking character. We're gonna have Iron Man and and we're gonna get them, let them kick ass and do the thing. They don't have to be all like super into. Well, how come in the last movie you did? Like, it doesn't. Let's just let them play the characters. They don't have to. The story doesn't have to be the exact time. I just don't understand. I get where they got that from, but I don't understand why they seem to be so beholden to it. It doesn't
I
make
mean,
sense.
we look at Fast and Furious; they loosely connect movie to
Right.
movie.
Yeah. And then it closes the door for innovation because I'm sure, like, you could. I'm gonna say this is I'm a fan of them. You know, I'm just now imagine if they would have got Zack Snyder to listen. We want to just get your take on the Avengers, or we want to get your take. The Zack Snyder Spider-Man is gonna be crazy as fuck, but it would be no different than when somebody say, "Yo, let's let Frank Miller do Batman." Well, let's let Frank do Daredevil. We know what kind of style he got. He gonna bring this aesthetic to it. Or no, let's go get John Byrne and let him do Superman because he's gonna have his style to it. Like that's what I would love to see with Marvel movies. They got somebody and said, Nolan, yo, you want to do a or whoever pick the character.
Daredevil. Nolan on Daredevil, I think he could do a good job.
Oh, yeah. Or some, you know what I mean? Like that would be different. I'm like, okay, Marvel, yeah, show me, put some style into it. Let these artists do their thing. They don't have to be tied. You're in control of the character. Now let us see this shit in a way we never seen it before.
Can you imagine Jordan Peele or actually, you know who I like? I'd like to see Donald Glover take on that.
That would be dope. That would be dope. I could see something, you know, the same way they have my man did Black Panther. That's why I was like, just let him do Black Panther. It doesn't have to be tied. So just recast somebody else, man, and let's just show a dope ass Black Panther movie. It don't gotta be the continuation of fuck it, start it over then. Like I'm gonna go if it's good, you know, bring back Michael B or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it isn't because it has to be canon, we're not gonna get T'Challa. And that's bullshit. Like, that's a dope character. I don't understand. You know, because
I would love to hear the oral history of making Wakanda Forever because I want to know who's the
truth
it was not to recast T'Challa. I don't think it was Feige, if you ask me. I do not think it was Feige. I'm gonna go. I don't want to throw the brother under the bus, but
I know you're talking about. I'm trying to remember. I recently listened to that book MCU, which you should check it out. I think you would really like it. I can't remember if they talked about this in there, but it follows all the movies. You know, it goes through the trajectory and interviews and stuff. It's a really good book.
The Reign of Marvel Studios?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good book. I listened to the audiobook.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some eye-opening things in there to me too, particularly in it was some political stuff in the military. I think it had to do with Iron Man. And it really showed how the military was like, okay, you're going to have to do this. And matter of fact, we don't think it's in the best interest to show this type of imagery in these movies right now because it ain't a good look for America type. And they went along with that shit. That was very interesting.
What did old boy say back in the living cover? Who you don't fuck with? The government.
Right? The government.
But yeah, I'm still excited for it. I'm cautiously optimistic, and you know, the animation is doing this thing, and hopefully, it's going to translate to something. My only issue is I still say when they closed the Fox deal, or at least they announced it. Why did they not sit back and say, you know, we're going to scrape some of this because we got the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I know some people don't think the Fantastic Four is hot like it was back in our day, but you get the right people on that. You have a good source material. They could have absolutely made that hot. Plus, the thing is you got Doom, Galactus, and Silver Surfer you get out of that. So, no, whatever. And you know, it's about to be hell to pay because they cast a woman to be Silver Surfer. So, they're not gonna get away from it.
I'm curious to see what they do with that. I personally don't think. I think the Fantastic Four is a harder sell, in my opinion, unless you drastically change it. But then you could be fighting against people who think you shouldn't change it. But I just feel like I don't feel anything special about those characters, really.
You say it,
unless you make it almost soap opera-y where the interplay between the characters is crazy. I don't really see like they don't seem in today's world. I don't see the appeal of it. Like I don't see how you make that like okay, they're a family of superheroes and they're smart and then they live in this building. And these questions like why? Okay, well, why are they allowed to do this or what? So I don't to me, I don't see how I like especially in the MCU, I'm curious to see how they would make it work in today's thing. Like there was a Reed Richards. Like what would be his role in what we've seen so far? It'd be interesting. I can see it in the comic book stance because that's where it's come from. But I feel like every time they reintroduce it in the movies, it's just like the last one they made them kids, right?
Yeah,
And that was
teenagers.
just like ridiculous. Kind of didn't. And then the one before it was more like the comics a little bit, but it was kind of goofy in a
I like the
sense.
first Fantastic Four.
It was cool. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was a different time. I don't think you can release a movie like that today. The tone that it had then, I'd be curious to see if that works today. You know, some guy who turns into a rock, she's invisible, and dude stretches, and then somebody turns into fire. It's like, okay. I can see back in the 50s how that probably would have been really cool on paper, but I don't know about like, okay, what that mean? Like, what does that? Why does it matter to everyone who knows what the Fantastic Four? They're screaming like, yeah, but it's Doctor Doom. I know because you know the stories and stuff. I'm talking about for me, people of today who don't read, ain't read that shit. Like, what would make them in today root for like, what's the catch of that? What's the draw of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the thing about that that's like, oh, that would be exciting? There isn't anything to me.
Damn, you just done ruined the Fantastic Four.
But we already see people with powers, so what's the big deal?
That's why their ace in the hole is the X-Men, because one, they're cool. Everybody admits they're cool as fuck.
Yeah, they're underdogs. They're being oppressed. There's a story. There's an awesome story that everyone can relate to that in some degree. Right? That's dope.
Right.
But with them, I don't really. They have to come up with something that would be like, okay, but what makes this any? What makes this? What's the thing about this? There's nothing.
I could see someone writing a nice dissertation on how bringing the Fantastic Four is on some MAGA, Make America Great Again, because it's
Hilarious.
all four white people basic as powers. No diversity in that.
Interesting. And if you do, well, and then when you did put diversity, it's going to get attacked, right?
Right.
They have Michael B. Jordan in there, so I don't know. Like I said, it is. I don't know. I don't think that's what I don't think it really works personally.
Really?
Unless you get a creator that creates something that, like, what's the tension in the story? What is the story? If you were to sell it right now, what would you say the Fantastic? Why would I want to see that movie? What do they do?
I got nothing.
Exactly.
I got nothing
That I ain't already seen.
Because the whole thing about the race to space, because some people are speculating that they started in the 60s and they've been gone for all these years. I'm like,
That
yeah,
could be
but
a story. That could be a way to play it to make it seem okay. They're fish out of water, so I could play that angle.
the
I don't
only
know how long
problem
that
is,
lasts.
yeah, that's the only problem is we already went through that with Captain America.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can't do that. And the allure of them going out into space is like, well, you had 60 plus years of space travel. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
like,
That's not a big deal. Now, again, so they could change it where they do something else.
that's what they did in the Ultimates, where they were doing the teleportation thing, and they were part of the
Right.
Baxter Foundation. So that the canon people are not going to like it, but I'm like, hey, this is what you got to do. You got to modernize it.
They got to
But
come up with a way to make Doctor Doom make sense too.
how doesn't Doctor Doom make sense?
Again, in the comics, and if you know about him, yes. But if you said, okay, here's a
He's just
guy
an evil Black Panther
from another country, and he wants to take over the world. Okay, like I mean, we've seen, but there's nothing. It ain't nothing we ain't already seen. Like I wouldn't rush to the theater to see that. Okay.
Well, I would look at him like he's if Killmonger had actually been raised in Wakanda, and it's like, yeah, this is I'm the nobility. I'm running this country, and now I'm about to go wreck shit on the big stage. You know,
Yeah.
the smart mofo. He's a genius, just for evil.
Yeah, so give me, yeah, they
And I
have to give
hope
me
they.
a story to make that
I think
compelling enough.
people were talking about the casting of the Fantastic Four, and I'm like, no, the casting they need to get right is Doctor Doom. That's the one you need to get right, because I feel like he is going to be the one that they're going to have to play off of with the other four characters,
Right.
and he's going to have to be able to do that and nail it. You
Yeah.
know, they did good with Josh Brolin with Thanos, so I won't put it past them, but they're going to have to get another great villain casting with Doctor Doom, because he has to be charismatic, he has to look good, he has to be smart, all of it. He has to be menacing, he has to be terrifying.
I agree. I think Marvel should lean on the villains, actually, because that's the thing that they don't really have personally. They killed Thanos. That was a fantastic villain. Killmonger was another fantastic villain. They're all dead. They don't have enough villains for as many of these heroes they got. And I don't really want to see the heroes keep fighting each other. And they have so many great heroes in the books that I don't understand how they don't have them in the movies. But who are they supposed to, like, they don't, who they be fighting? Like, can't just be fighting themselves all the time. You done killed Thanos, and so okay, Kang. I don't know if they're gonna even deal with that anymore.
First of all, I wasn't even that excited for Kang.
I wasn't either. And I've heard Submariner, they don't even mention him no more. So I don't know what's going on with that character.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have another FBA conversation. Well, actually, we can't, because that was nuts. He ain't that. Wakanda ain't us.
Oh, yeah,
they're not like us. There you go.
I can see Marvel throwing that in a movie. So corny at this point, but it's. I'm excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm excited to see.
I'm not. I wasn't a big fan of the second one, but I guess this is going to be kind of like No Way Home, where you get all these other cameos. Hopefully,
I hope. And this might be make or break for me, for Marvel. Like, and I hate that it has so much pressure on it, but it has to be good, man, because you brought Wolverine back, and you're probably, insinuating. Like, I heard they brought Wesley back. Wesley's gonna be in this as Blade.
Ooh, okay.
That's crazy. So I mean, okay, if there's gonna be some cameos, make them good. This has to kick ass.
But at the same time, there was a lot of speculation on Endgame that we didn't get a lot of that stuff.
True, that's true.
People, I'm still waiting for the Doctor Doom appearance at the end of Wakanda Forever. That he was the guy pulling all the strings.
Interesting.
There was supposed to be a post-credit scene where it's revealed that he was the one that told Namor about the adamantium thing and sent all that stuff into motion.
Wow.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Now, to get those, I don't want to get too sidetracked into geeking out and whatnot, but after the success of the MCU, somewhat success of Sony with their Spider thing. I mean, say what you will, they made some money off of some of these films. DC, they didn't knock them dead at the box office, but they made some money off of Man of Steel, off of Dawn of Justice, and Wonder Woman, of course. My thing is
Aquaman did $1 billion.
Yes, right. Aquaman did a bit. Second one, it was all right. It's all right. It wasn't.
It was not pretty bad.
All right. I like Flash, but the thing I'm trying to get to is, other than Netflix buying Millar World or the Millarverse, I'm still like, I still don't understand how they didn't go to Dark Horse, they didn't go to Image and some of those characters and get those made. I mean, Supreme is a good story. Wildcats is pretty decent, and some of the other stories that are out there. I mean, you had Invincible. I think Invincible is ripe for a TV series, in my opinion. Not Invincible, a Kick-Ass. That's what I was thinking. Kick-Ass is ripe for a TV show. I'm still just kind of. There are a lot of non-Marvel, non-DC comics out there that are pretty good, really good. Honestly, Saga, The Divine plus The Wicked. No, I think it's called Wicked. A
I don't
number of them.
like those though. I don't
Yeah.
like those. But I mean, I'm not. But I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
I can see them being like HBO programs for some reason.
I'm just kind of curious. What do you think prevented them from mining? Because we all know Hollywood is a Me Too type
Well,
of
I,
thing.
I think that they do mine them. I just think that it's such a risky thing though that those would work, and they're probably very expensive to pull off. Uh, I don't know. I don't. I mean, the ones you mentioned, they're to me very sort of niched comics for people who really are into. Like, I don't know if they would appeal to a wide range. But again, I could see them being a Netflix or an HBO type of program, and it'd probably be very good, but it would be a hell of a risk to
Well, I
me.
mean,
It's an unknown thing.
you say that, and Walking Dead was the number one TV show for a few years,
Sure.
and then Invincible. People are on that. The Boys. That's another one that was a good hit.
Yeah.
So it's
But I
like
don't think that they're not like the boy is as good as that. I mean, that's on Amazon, so I don't know how that would work on a regular TV. I think it would probably have to be very more successful for that to keep going. But they can just bankroll that shit over there. They're not tripping over what probably some other companies would be. I'm assuming. Not to say that, and again, those aren't made, and those are made for adults. But I think it's still a risky thing. Like if I had to choose between something I knew was going to be mass appeal versus something niche like that, I might go for the mass appeal thing. And the mass appeal stuff is kind of already mimed out in a way. Like, I think Netflix did a very risky thing by doing that Malar stuff, and they failed dramatically, right? Like they spent a gang of money on that. They canceled that shit. Nobody even
so I know
talked
they
about it.
did Jupiter's Legacy, but
Yeah.
what was the other one? Didn't they have another one that was from that?
Um, I want to say it was another spin-off or something. They don't even talk about the Malar stuff no more. Maybe that deal is over or something. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think too that that type of stuff, people are not just throwing money out there. A superhero thing isn't just an automatic win at this point, you know.
Yeah. You-
You know.
I think Superman cachet alone, I think gets it to at least 400 million, just because it's Superman.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah. I
I'm
mean, go ahead.
I'm still kind of lost how Wanted hasn't been rebooted. Netflix owns that. I think that's to me was a no brainer, but they have the data and they know what people are watching, so they probably know. Yeah, this ain't gonna do it. This ain't
I
gonna
mean, for as much as we talk about the X-Men, if you really look at it, it's not hitting ratings wise.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I did see that.
for as much as we talk about it, it ain't in the Nielsen or nothing like that. I mean, so I don't know. Like I can't call it, but I don't know. I don't know. Any other things before we wrap this thing up? We've been going here a couple hours.
Nah, I think I'm good. Other than um, if you didn't know, Israel's the wrong one. They letting you know.
Why? What happened?
Oh, I mean, one, they then roped the U.S. into helping them fight in the Middle East, and then two, here they got a anti-Semitism bill. It's amazing how quickly they can do that for them.
Interesting.
And our campuses, they putting them protesters on lockdown.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It-
Yeah, like I said, I have nothing against it. I want to see justice. I'm always standing for justice and stuff. But other than that, I really just haven't been abreast on the particulars of it. But yeah, man, I'm all for peace. You know what I'm saying, and for what's right. So
Unfortunately, those a lot of times the two never are
right,
together.
right. Yeah, I'm so focused, laser focused on reparations, and so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm with well, you sign me up. You support reparations?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, real quick. I know politics, you on the outskirts of it, but for me, I'm seeing a Trump win. I'd love to be wrong because he's a
Oh, I wouldn't
fool.
be surprised.
He doesn't represent my interests. I don't feel he's going to be what's best for my community and America at large. But I wish Q was here because he probably lose his shit. But I'm gonna say it anyway. The Democrats do not know what the fuck they're doing to turn this tide. And he's like, I know, and everybody's gonna blame. Well, Trump did. I'm like, we all know life ain't fair. Who's in office now? And that's who's getting the blame. And the Dems, Biden's team, they're not doing enough to spin the narrative for them to get a win. And all Trump is pretty much doing is that, look at what he's doing, which is hilarious because it's essentially what Biden did in 2020. Look at what he's doing with the country.
Yeah, only thing I can say, it's amazing that the election is just coming. It's only a few months away. I don't feel like it's the attention to it. Like I think there should be, and maybe that's just I'm not paying attention. But yeah, we're gonna have a new president very soon. But one thing I'm just very curious. Whichever way it goes, it's gonna be crazy. That's how I feel. I feel like if Trump wins, it's gonna be crazy. If he doesn't win, it's gonna be crazy. These people are gonna act a fool one way or the other. So I'm just kind of like I want to wait and see what's gonna pop off because yeah, man, I feel like there's people. If he don't win, I feel like some of them super MAGA people is gonna act a damn fool, man.
So what you're saying is all the bleach blonde, bad built, butch bodies
Yes.
are gonna be out in the streets acting a fool.
You know what? Like, see, this is just where it is right now. You imagine what it's gonna be like in another 5 years. It'd be so disrespectful in these politician arenas. They're gonna be in there fighting. I can see a time where it's just gonna be on they're gonna be literally fighting and they're gonna start shooting or something crazy. It's gonna be like gangs, like the violence. I could see it. It may not be the actual
Talking about
politicians,
in
but
Congress
the
or
people. No, I mean I'm talking about the people. Like if they're a Democrat or you're a Republican or something, I can see where it's gonna get so disrespectful later on. Because this is just this, when Trump came in, I just feel like the curve started going down. People was like, it's okay to be disrespectful or talk crazy in professional type arenas. So the thing that happened with these ladies here going at it, that had never happened, in my opinion, back in the day. But that's where it's at. Like it's the disrespect that I don't care about nobody else but well fuck, like they're ready to get it popping. I feel like the politicians in that arena, it's gonna be on the level of the violence that we see on the streets, where they just gonna be short tempered and somebody gonna slap the shit out of somebody, or it's gonna you see that in other countries where they be in there squabbing, and I can see American politics, it's gonna get to that. I think Trump started that the way he came into the game and let him loose. Or even like what happened with the January 6th, that's just that. If they're willing to do that, a couple years later, they're gonna be willing to up it and do something even more. And that's what I can see happen.
and not only do that, but get people in powerful positions justifying and downplaying it.
Yeah. All it's gonna take is a politician, and it could be Trump or somebody that's gonna be like, yeah, you know what? Off with his head. I mean, you saw how Trump was inciting people in his little rallies saying goofy stuff. Yeah, we'll throw him out. And it's gonna be they're gonna be like, don't throw him out, beat his ass. And they're gonna whoop somebody's ass right there. They're gonna be all filmed, and it's gonna go out to everybody, and it's gonna be like, oh, we can do that now. They'll get in trouble for it, but it's gonna set the stage where like, yeah, you can whoop somebody's ass up in here now, and that's just the way it is. And I can see that's gonna happen. It's gonna be just how you can run into the Capitol and get it popping. I feel like the next time they will run in there, and they probably would have done it last time. They will pull somebody and start giving them that work, and everybody piling on. That's what's gonna happen, and it's probably gonna happen in our American cities before anything else, where they're gonna be like, the crime is so crazy, right? You see all this happening now. Crime is so bad. The police ain't doing nothing about it. The government's, the woke, they, all of the talking points. The lefties they're not gonna do, but we gotta do something about it. And that's what's going to, and we're going to run in the street. And you already done seen it with the Kyle Rittenhousers and all that, but it's going to be a group of people, and it's going to be the ones that look like the bad built, The regular
Rich
ones
body.
that be your coworker, and they're gonna say something real slick to you. Well, is that because of your weave? What? What are you gonna do, black bitch? You know, and it's gonna pop off, and somebody gonna get their head blown off, and it's gonna go out, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, they doing that in Seattle? Well, shoot, not in my backyard in Texas. We, of course, we're gonna, you know, what I mean, it's gonna be another. Let's go get those people and get them out of here. It might be the immigrants. It's gonna be something that's gonna escalate. I can see this happening, man. I hate to say it like that, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's just like the respect and just the decency is going down. And people's doing
I've
some wild shit out here.
I've gone on record saying that as much as I don't want it to happen, that what could be best for the country is if Trump wins again. Because, because if he loses, he can run again in 4 years. And he'll have his base saying they cheated, and they just keep on building and building and building.
Yeah.
Whereas if he wins, he can only do 4 more years. I know people want to talk about, oh, he wants to become a dictator and he won't leave. I don't see that happening. I think what could be best for the country is give him that 4 more years, and we could be turn the page on Trumpism. Hopefully, I'd love for it not to happen, but I just feel if he doesn't win, of course he's going to say they cheated, they stole the election. It's basically going to get more riled up, and it's just the tension and the animosity is going to build and build, and potentially he can run again in 4 more years and keep the bullshit going.
Right. Yeah, man. I don't. It's gonna be either way. It's gonna be a thing. It'd be interesting if he wins. Then what becomes his narrative then? Because he can't blame it on. Okay, we won, so they didn't cheat. What's going to be his thing? What's going to be their agenda then? We got to get these people out of the country, or we got to take back these streets. Or it's going to be something that he's got to rile his people to go out and want to get rally behind. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, it's rally to get me in here. Okay, now what happens when he wins, or what they're going to be going on next? And plus, I don't know if we're really dealing with the long-term effects as we continue to see the normalization of homelessness. I think we're at a tipping point with technology that I don't think we really know what we're about to get ourselves involved in. It ain't just the AI part about it.
I ain't gonna lie. Some of these geeks, I'm gonna call them. Some of these geeks out here that are pushing AI and this robotics, I want to smack them upside their head. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You getting us all replaced? How are we gonna make a living? How, Sway?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna get out here. I'm on my conspiracy theories, but it's just like, do we get the normalization of homelessness and not people being able to make enough money to live on, then you would have to introduce something to give them something to do and to give them money to survive. Because the whole country being in a state of homelessness is going to be wild. But it could be normalized where some of your friends from school might be living in a homeless place, and it's normal. But then it all could be like, well, we can give you a basic income, but then what are they going to do during the daytime if they don't necessarily have to work? And then it might be like, you know what? Maybe we to combat the AI thing, maybe we mandate, and I believe there's actually some people pushing this sort of legislation. Why don't we mandate that all babies have an implant will help them learn and compete against the AI so that you're not left behind and you're just on a level playing field from birth, but it's put inside you. And and again, it's not just the AI technology, it is the sort of the conversations of we can create things that can combat diseases and they can push it to you in that way. And if they can already mandate to you to get a COVID test or to just get immunized about things in general, which you should be, if the common sense argument would be to say the ultimate way to you can live long, you can be smart, You can be plugged in and everything. Is that all babies are just immunized at birth? Immunization means an implant too.
Oh
And,
boy.
and if you've accepted AI, if you've accepted all these other things year after year, you've accepted that there are diseases that can come and ravage our country and world, and you accept to take that to get immunized against that because you'll die if you don't. At some point, you will accept the rational argument that the only way to combat all of this is that we're all implanted to have that. We got a nanobite blood thing that can go into your body. You'll never get sick again. You won't get cancer no more. But you also will be tracked, or I'm on my conspiracy theory. But I can see how it could be rationally argued. And if they have, think of the long-term play. If generations have been brought up to think that technology is the shit, that it's never wrong. You've been brought up on a tablet and a phone your whole life. Now they're getting you into the concept to ask the AI questions and help you. It's smarter than you. It's faster than you. When you have a couple generations of kids that have been brought up with that ideology, you think they're gonna be resistant to the fact that, man, just get the neural link and so you can be on some next level with the rest of us and level the playing field. That's why I said, and people be put out of work. Well, you don't want to be put out of work. You need to get your thing so you can go work and you can think fast like the machine do.
So if we don't hear
nothing that the machines there's nothing that we have created with AI that is better than what your brain can do, if you really think about it. Because the AI could never create your brain, but our brains are the ones that has created this technology. Anyway.
So if we don't hear from Michael Dean over the next couple of weeks,
I'm gonna be out in the mountain in my cabin. I'm off the net. I'm off the grid. I'm off the grid.
We know they got him. We know they got him.
Right. Diddy got me. Diddy was a plant by the government the whole time.
Oh, Lord.
All right, man. Hilarious.
Good show as always.
Woo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed that. These two brothers just going, talking, and having a good time. Next time, hopefully we'll get Big Sexy in here and Q Storm. Real quick, Ampu, where can people find you online, sir?
Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Ampu.
All right. And of course, Work It Like a Job, Michael Dean Podcast Juice. We'll see you next time. Peace.